Google, YouTube, Facebook, hell, even the echo chamber that is Twitter and beyond. I think it's time we had a talk. And I want you to keep in mind of a few things here. We're not some big shot Hollywood execs. We're not some paid actors or actresses. We're not part of some massive media conglomerate. No. We need to talk about where it is where we really came from and what it is that you've created. I would first like to preface this whole spiel I'm about to go into with a major league disclaimer. I know not all of social media acts the way it does, and there can be some good things about it all. I'm well aware of this. However, the environment itself these days has only grown more and more hostile towards independent creators and have severely stunted any hopes of growth. True, you've made it more competitive for all parties involved to become the best of the best in different fields of entertainment, be it animations, music, film, artwork, and so on. At the same time, it's also more of a collaborative effort across all so many other channels as well, and we've seen the fruits of their labors blossom into something even far greater than ever before. It has its overall benefits, for sure. But where we all really came from is a place that is very much removed from your own perception of reality. Some of us live on month-to-month paychecks from the government in the form of Social Security, get paid pretty much pennies on the dollar at some ramshackle supermarket where everyone, even the employers, hates your guts 24/7, 365 to 366 days of the year, depending on whether or not it's a leap year. Some of us may even have alimony to pay to our ex-spouses because of an insert arbitrary reason here or whatever. What you think we all are and what we actually are two entirely different things. And sadly, we only do this kind of thing as mostly for a hobby at first. Eventually, yes, it does turn into a career if we pursue it enough and have enough of a drive to get there. But what you don't realize is that we're all from some backwater, small-town parts of America. Some will make it. Some will rest on their laurels, and others will simply fizzle out and fade away from the public consciousness, never to be seen or heard from ever again. If they do make a comeback, however, 9 times out of 10, they simply don't have the magic that they once used to, and ultimately just give it all up, because they can't handle the hassle of running a channel or something akin to it. The one time, though, they can. It varies from person to person, I'll give you that. And if they keep on plugging away as hard as they can, they too can get up there and say with triumph in their voices and pride in their hearts, knowing that they made it, that they made something of themselves without the help of anyone. It can be done. Not to mention, through the power of sheer positivity, we can all achieve that goal and become something even more than what was ever dreamed of. But yet, you've overlooked something. Not to mention, there's also the hidden duality of mankind, where just as you've taken all these virtues and have committed yourselves to them, but by the same token, you're just as guilty for just as many sins. Humility has pride. Charity has greed. Chastity has lust. Justice has wrath. Temperance has gluttony. Patience has envy. And finally, diligence has sloth. 7 virtues, 7 sins. But we're not here for that, nor is this some TED Talk about the Bible. So because of the fact that you're looking out for the bigger people, you've left out all the smaller ones. The ones who have no financial backing. Those small people who constantly struggle just to even push out as many videos as they can just so they can get anywhere. And for those people who even have so much as a difference of opinion than what's been spoon-fed to others, you actively go out of your way just to silence them. I mean, has no one ever noticed that even on certain videos, that you see these little blurbs on the bottom of it where even mentioning something like the coronavirus and its many iterations of Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Beta, Phi, Oscar, Foxtrot, Tango, Sigma, or whatever? You even mention anything about it. Even if there's something that contradicts the CDC's findings, you're immediately hit with this little blurb that appears on the bottom of the video, linking it over to the CDC, or something from Wikipedia. which we all know to be a bottomless well of information, am I right? Or wait. How about this little hot button matter? Even so much as the 2020 elections, honk honk, from last year, and how that was made into perhaps the world's biggest foobar that anyone has ever seen, which for nearly a year running people are still harping on about? You think we also don't notice the act of shadow banning that you're doing? Not only that, but we've even seen with our own eyes the act of blacklisting you're doing to people who you seem to think is a bit of a problem for you. If you think these people are such an issue, and you're definitely not going to like what's going to be coming from us smaller people. I just hope and pray for your sake that you've all brought a cup, a crash helmet, and a 5-point safety harness, and possibly some heavy-duty Kevlar body armor, because this is going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt me. So if I say anything that seems like it's out of line, then you only have yourselves to blame for all of this mess, and don't you dare try to convince me otherwise, because for one, we never asked for any of this. We didn't need any of this, for two. And finally, and most importantly, go fuck yourself if you think otherwise, and here's why. You don't seem to understand that Earth isn't yours to conquer. So with that all out of the way, let's begin. Now, some of you might be familiar with my works, some of which you might have known me from some collaborative efforts here and there, but have I ever really thrown in with any commentary groups? Outside of the ones for video games, because to me those don't really count. And well, I basically answered your question right then and there, Sonny Jim. I've basically been to this website like what I've been to your mum every Saturday night. A pain in your ass ever since day one, but hey, you know, she wanted it. Not my fault. In all seriousness, though, how in the blue-balled fuck have I made it this far without even having been thrown off of here in its entirety? I mean, the most I've gotten has never been more than 2 community guideline strikes, and have spent like 2 weeks on the shelf because some bitch got uptight over the fact that I said some naughty words here or there, where in the grander scheme of things, none of it should have mattered. She, you know damn well who you are out there, could have just taken it all in stride and walked away and just gotten over the fact that she was wrong. Her thoughts were all over the place, and she was acting like a general bubblehead. But you know, it wasn't always that way. I've been involved in some sagas here and there. I've seen it all, heard it all, but I knew when it was high time to let shit go and let bygones be bygones. But if there's been one constant all throughout the history of this website that I found most jarring of all, it would have to be this. Personal beef aside with some people that have long since either been rendered moot or resolved peacefully, there have been numerous policy updates that just clamps down harder and harder on wanting to be the most creative, multifaceted, unique channel to have ever graced the interwebs. But nope, can't be that way. You have to comply with all of these changes until all your channels are now one and the same, no matter what it is that you do. I mean, we've gotten used to it over the years, what with the Cosmic Panda layout implemented in the early 2010s. Then things got changed over towards the one-channel layout in the mid to late 2010s, and have been that way ever since. But you know, looking back at it now, doesn't really bother me. It's all an aesthetic thing. No big deal. Just is what it is. But within that time frame, the policies of being able to say what you want and do whatever you like on here has slowly given way to now suddenly, oh, you can't talk about this. You can't talk about that. Hell, you can't even give an opinion based on either subjective anecdotes or objective statements, even if it was based purely on the facts laid out before you, or otherwise, like many channels have been hit this way, like Styx Hexenhammer, Razor Fist, Liberal High Mind, to as far back as, say, David Cullen of Computing Forever. But if it hit these bigger names of independent thinkers, how do you think it would affect the smaller people like you, or even like me? Not to mention, right, has anyone ever really noticed that all of those smaller people have either gone completely silent, or even if they have uploaded, it's not all that frequently? Well, gosh, Mickey, it sure sounds like something happened here to me. Well, I'll tell you why. Over the course of this little talkathon here, I'm going to provide little nuggets of why this website has changed the way it did. And it all comes down to the central fact that as far as YouTube as a whole has been concerned, or rather its parent company Google itself, and you know this for a full well for a goddamn fact that this is true, is because everything has been switched over from manual reviews to automated ones, and that the algorithm itself has been subsequently been squishing you down harder and harder so that you'll never be seen, even if you use the proper tags, the right category, the correct title in your video, and so much more. Not to mention, the content in your video also gets you squished down even fucking harder until you're completely off of the radar, never to be seen unless if you or your subscribers share your content around for people to see on places like Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere else. For example, right? You could say some of the most benign milquetoast shit in the world, like you want to talk about cars, boats, airplanes, comic books, toys, video games, music, you know, hobbies that are of interest to you. But the moment you talk about harder topics, like, say, for example, World War II, the declining sales of a video game, like, for example, let's say Avengers, that one hemorrhaging artery from Square Enix, and how it started out on some rather shaky ground and then started to prolapse harder and harder every single day, especially when you tack on the coof pandemic on top of this last year. Yikes! Then you have Activision Blizzard as of recently, and what an utter shit show that's been with all these allegations of sexual harassment and all that, and how in Overwatch they're thinking of changing one character's name because of said allegations. Things ain't looking too good for them, especially since they've got deadlines to meet with Diablo 4, but yet all of their higher-up people are leaving from it left and right in droves. Let's not also forget some other massive flops that have occurred over the past few years, too. Black Panther, for example. Oh, good lord. You try to explain as to why this was such a commercial failure, and the Twitter mob over there will march upon you in force with pitchforks and torches and demand your head for it. Or hey, how about the more recent and absolutely majestic Hindenburg-level diarrhea fart explosion that was Space Jam: A New Legacy? Okay. Look, I know what everyone's going to say here, so let me just cut to the chase. First off, with Black Panther, yes, the film looked decent enough. The plot was kind of meh, and the actors and actresses, they were there, I guess. But if you ask me, the film just didn't hold my attention. And no, it's not because, oh, you're being racist, you didn't like the film. First off, nice straw man you built. Too bad it completely and utterly invalidates your argument in its entirety. Secondly, I at least gave it a try, knowing full well of what it is I was getting into. Then we get over to Space Jam: A New Legacy. Hey, Warner Brothers. Just come here for a second. Just come here a minute. Okay, listen. First off, I've seen better 3D models in that Sonic movie from last year, and yeah, that one too had some major eye-rolling in moments, doubly with the whole power friendship thing at the end. Spoiler alert for those of you who might be working through that one. Anyway, I've even seen better 2D animation on fucking Newgrounds of all places. Hell, some of your other animated works looked better than this by comparison. I mean, what? Mortal Kombat, Scorpion's Revenge, recently with the release of Straight Outta Nowhere, Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog, and even accepting the meme of Ultra Instinct Shaggy in one of your intros. Like, what the absolute fuck, man? What was any of this? What was it? How could you possibly take the multi-million-dollar franchise that was Looney Tunes, plus all those other properties you were needlessly flexing with, and then completely piss it all away? Then we have the biggest offender in LeBron James. God friggin' damn it. Alright, you little shits. Who made that call? No, seriously, who thought that adding him, especially with how much of a whiny crybaby fucking bitch he's been, or how overinflated his ego has been, especially if you also consider his attitude towards his own teammates with, well, any team he's been on, more notably with the LA Lakers. If I were in a fantasy basketball league, or even any head coach for any actual team he's been on right now, I'd be dropping this guy in a heartbeat with how disgusting he's been both as a player and as a human being. But hey, who knows? I might just be talking out my ass as I usually do, and then I'm wrong in thinking the way that I do. But again, there are some things about him that you just can't help but notice. If anything, he's an absolute slacktivist dipshit who just needs to keep his focus on the game. Or rather, if he does decide to open up his mouth about the world as it is, he should at least spend some time looking into the things he's talking about, rather than shooting his mouth off with reckless abandon. Much like a former quarterback from the San Francisco 49ers should have. Ain't that right, Colin Kaepernick, you derelict wannabe grifter? So aside from all that, yeah, okay, listen. I know what you might say to that. That, hey, the original wasn't exactly executed flawlessly either. But here's the one thing we can all agree on, right? The original Space Jam movie had something this remake didn't. It didn't have the heart. It didn't have the self-awareness to know that it was pretty much a semi-autobiography of Michael Jordan, especially since the guy had just hung up his basketball jersey after netting 6 titles with the Chicago Bulls, and then traded it up for a short-lived run as a baseball player towards the tail end of the 1990s, or better yet, it also had the self-awareness to know that it was basically a 100-minute commercial for Jordan sneakers. We all fucking knew that, but we loved it anyway since it had all the cheese we could tolerate back then, as well as some really solid feel-good moments. And this shit with the new one? Sorry, that ain't it, Chief. If anything, it was nothing more than a sterilized, homogenized, anesthetized, squeaky clean pile of turds. Because no matter how much you try to shine one up, it's still a giant turd. And oh lordy loo did this one stink. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. On a side note, towards the subject of Razorfist, now that I mentioned him, he actually made a great point when it came to this subject. Because when you get right down to it, right? The superhero genre, as a little sidebar here, had its moments in the same vein that pulp noir films had in the 1930s and 1940s, where one style came along and shook the whole thing up. You want to know what that is? The Deconstruction Arc. The prime example that I can think of here where this worked would be The Boys, which you can find on Amazon Prime, just as an FYI. Then you have this animated series called Invincible come along and then start reconstructing it from the ground up, all while being based very much in reality. And it all happens within the first few minutes of the first episode of each. The divergence in all of this, however, is that the director of The Boys has come out publicly saying that he hated the superhero genre, whereas the one for Invincible stated that they loved it. Divergence aside, these two series have done something with the superhero genre and shaken it up. For better or worse, remains only up to your own eyeballs and wallets. But let's also go through some other examples of how the Deconstruction Arc has worked and shook up the landscape of other forms of media. You guys know about Puella Magi Madoka Magica, right? That was one of the few rare instances where it worked for the magical girl genre of anime, and it delivered in spades. Here's another example, if you need more proof of this. Everybody knows about third-person military cover shooters these days, right? How you're supposed to be the big, beefy, macho, cigar-smoking, 50-cal-toting, one-liner-a-minute badass who saves the world and gets to go home to his loved ones or whatever. Not so if you're familiar with, quite honestly, a major sleeper hit in Spec Ops: The Line. Yeah, granted, the Spec Ops series as a whole was fairly rudimentary and otherwise lackluster in spots over the years, but then you run into this one. This one game alone strips out everything you know about heroism and instead challenges you in ways that you never see coming, where you think you're doing the right thing, but instead This game chastises you in a rather mean-spirited manner for everything that you do, especially when you get towards certain areas. But I'm going to avoid spoiling it for you unless you played the game for yourself. If you have, then you know precisely which moments. The thing is, however, while it is another run-of-the-mill third-person cover shooter, no, this game does not make you feel like a hero. This game does not make you feel like some big badass. If anything, this game will make you feel like a massive piece of shit. And it's all your fault for doing the things you did, you horrible, deplorable, hypocritical, genocidal bastard. Shame on you. But again, this is exactly how deconstruction works. It strips away everything that you think you know about the genre itself, okay? And instead takes you on a walk on the darker side, as it were. And when I say darker side, I mean darker than pitch fucking black. But let's get back to the central point, now that I got all my tangents out of the way, and how this all connects to Google's fuck-ups. The fact is that there's only so much that Google will tolerate before putting the boots to your neck and make sure that you're completely compliant to their policies, where at the same time turning a blind eye to everything else. You can talk about music, but you can't talk about artists like Marilyn Manson. You can talk about guns and their history, like with some individuals such as Hickok 45, Demolition Ranch, if you're looking for more of a jackass set in the South kind of feel, maybe even Kentucky Ballistics. And thank God he's doing better after that horrific accident, by the way. That was really scary, not gonna lie. If you want to know more, I'll tell you later. But you can't talk about certain incidents where they were used, like with officer-involved shootings, especially if one of the officers has an active body camera on their person and it's videotaping the events for all to see and bear witness to on the 6 o'clock news in your area, followed by whether or not it was deemed justifiable in their line of work after a thorough internal investigation. You can talk about video games, but don't you dare bring up a certain company's shady business practices, or else wham bam, thank you ma'am, your ass is getting straight up canceled by the outrage mob. And speaking of which, you know, I recall a video that was put out by Wolfie Chew, a storytime animator of all fucking people, you know the ones, right? She even had people get all up in arms over the way she speaks. She came out with a video about it, and you know what I think about the whole thing? As if my faith in people couldn't get any lower than the Earth's outer core, it's probably plunged all the way down into the very center of the inner core, and as of this moment in time, it's heading further and further down into the very pits of hell itself. Well, she also put out another video along with the Sweeto Tunes recently, about how they supposedly found Wolfie's real vocal range and how they were exposing themselves to the masses, when in reality they were just fucking around. At the same time, however, it also disproves any dumb shit conspiracy theories these people had about Wolfie's voice, something she can't change on a whim if she tried, and yes, she has tried. But it just wasn't fucking enough for you. You had to press on and press on for years on end until she had to come clean about herself like it was an online struggle session, saying things like, "Ugh, it's so annoying. Ugh, I can't listen to it for extended periods of time. Ugh," or "What the fuck? This isn't how you really sound. Come clean about this, you piece of shit. Ugh." Then maybe you should just get used to it. What, your devout Christian parents banned you from watching anime or something? Is that it? And then do us all a favor and try watching sometime. Here, I'll give you an easy recommendation. Start with something light like Attack on Titan, and then go on from there. Maybe even BNA if that's more your taste, followed by shutting your fucking cake hole, and then come on back when you've got something less trivial to say. Now, tell me, are any of you happy with yourselves? Are you pleased with what you fuckers did all those years ago and further back, especially when you attempted to get people like Spoctor Theory canceled, or even Pro Jared? You even attempted to get JonTron canceled, and that didn't work. Or how about with Tom McDonald, just for a little bit of control? You attempted to get him canceled, and guess the fuck what? That didn't work either. So who's your next target now, huh? All because some people speak differently, have music tracks that talk about the hard realities of life, especially with how one person went through in a similar vein of a one Eminem, or even said something in jest. And yeah, I'll give you that one thing about Pro Jared. The Sailor Mercury cosplay might have been a little bit weird, but when he came out with the receipts of what really happened, you fuckers all backed the fuck off, only to gang up on the next problem person that you deem to be too much for civilized people to handle. Or how about with the recent polling of that one Friday Night Funkin' mod called Mid-Fight Masses? Because for some apparent reason or another, a bunch of pissed off Karens all got on Twitter that day and started making up a bunch of stupid shit saying something along the lines of, "Oh, this kid's game has naughty words in it. We demand that it gets pulled now because we're more right than you are, you bunch of fucking idiots." But yet, it doesn't end there. You know, on Netflix, right? Have you guys seen Dave Chappelle's new special, The Closer? Well, guess what the fuck happened there? One aside about trans people, and then kablooey, millions of dumbasses all try to cancel him, only for him to turn it right back around on their faces and telling them, if this is what being canceled is like, good. Fuck Twitter. Fuck NBC News, ABC News, and all the other stupid-ass networks. But you know something, people? He's right. However, ABC and NBC aren't the only ones. There's more to it, as I'll get into later, but trust me when I say this. Don't quite give up on your Netflix subscription just yet. There's still some good shit on there, still. But whatever you do, make sure you do yourself a favor and be more selective on what you want to watch. If you still can't find anything worth to give a fuck about, then don't hold it against yourself by saying, you know what, to hell with this, I'm gonna go find something else, and then you go right on ahead and you cancel your Netflix. I mean, there's still Hulu and Amazon Prime, I suppose, but again, be more picky about what you see. But of course, you know what the outrage mob ended up doing, especially when the CEO admitted that, yeah, it was a little bit crass of him to spread a few memes of Dave Chappelle around. Despite this, he ended up saying afterwards that his stance has not changed on this, and what do you know, the outrage mob ended up doing is they ended up walking on out of there before they then showed their true colors, with one of them demanding a raise for their hard work. Get the fuck on out of here with that shit. You have, quite possibly, one of the biggest dream jobs in the world right now, and you honestly think that demanding more money just because your precious little tight pants got all bent out of shape over a few things that Dave said in his special? Alright, well, two can play this game because here's what they're all turning their blind eyes to. Violence, whether simulated or actual, foul language even if it was used as a vehicle to exaggerate a joke, despite more often than not it comes out cringy as fuck, and I'm not even being hyperbolic about it in some cases, as we've seen, like with Kathy Griffin posing for a picture with a mock-up of Donald Trump's severed head on her hands in one case, or music you don't want to listen to, or even 2D characters showing so much as a nipple are all off the table, but yet, things like naked yoga and utilizing the grapefruit method for dildo practice are all just fine, right? Now, for the record, nothing is sexual going on in these videos, but no, none of this shit gets flagged, and it's all easily accessible for some impressionable 8-year-old boy or girl to look up because, hey, who knows? Maybe they were bored one night while they were unsupervised. They were supposed to look up something involving Peppa Pig and accidentally find some bare ass right in their faces. And yes, people, naked yoga is a thing. I've seen it. And the people in it aren't even that good looking anyway. Paraphrasing Eminem from one of his songs in conclusion to this section is that it's apparent that you really shouldn't be a parent, and that you should get up off your fat ass and start watching what it is that your kid does, or otherwise more of this shit is bound to happen again and again. In other words, if you think that the things we say are problematic or there are so many problems online and that you think there should be stiffer penalties or something like that, or that it's affecting your child in such disturbing ways, then you can start by walking up to that mirror you frequent by either reaching for another Risperidol, Ritalin, or whatever for your kid to keep him lethargic after you brush the cum stains off your teeth and washing the pecker tracks off your face, and try looking squarely at yourself. The evidence is right there, plain to see. From there, look inward at the core values your parents attempted to instill in you, provided you even have any. Want to know the worst part of it all? It's their own ass-backwards bigotry. See, they claim that people like myself, a straight white man, and others like me are racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic misogynists, and yet, they're doing the same exact same thing they're all accusing us of in the first goddamn place as a means of widening the already massive divide between us as a species, which is not only highly ironic, as I'll get to in a minute, but also highly stupid. But just so we can set the record straight on that, allow me to get a few other facts in about myself. I know you don't like hearing that word, but oh well, that I think you people need to be aware of about myself. First off, yes, I am straight. I am white. And yes, I have a penis between my legs. Sorry to disappoint the whole hell of a lot of you. But here's what you dummies didn't know. I'm a mixture of French-Canadian, Irish, Scottish, Old English, Micmac Native American, and actually, some African American. Here's why I know this. I was perused old pictures with my mom one time, and I see some old pictures of my grandfather who had the same complexion as me, an olive gold skin color. Then my grandmother, she was pasty-ass white, but with red hair and greenish eyes. My dad, who passed away more than 4 years ago, was also a white guy, but he had dark hair and dark eyes. Then you have my mom. She's also white, but here's the thing. To reiterate, when she was younger, she also had the same skin complexion that was given to her from her father's side of the family. This being the dark hair, the dark eye color, and the olive gold skin color. So where'd the black come from, you ask? God rest his soul that he doesn't have to see this bullshit nowadays, but one of my cousins was black. And despite the fact that he came from white parents, and sadly, he never knew where it is that he fit in. But what he was to me was that he was family. On another note, because of the mixing of races, we had something called a Mongolian dark spot on our lower backs. Feel free to look that up. You're more than welcome to. Another thing I'll add on to this is that, yes, I have cousins who are either gay, lesbian, or are transitioning from male to female. I don't really talk to that one who's doing so these days because he, not gonna use your precious fucking pronouns anymore, decided to come off as an asshole at his father's funeral when my mother was only there to say her final goodbyes to someone who she considered to be more of her son than his own mother. Not to mention, the two who came out as gay only did that to make everyone look past the fact that they were Chester the molesters. God only knows what else they are. The lesbian one? Haven't heard much from her in a while. I kind of wonder where she's been and how she's been doing these days. But me? This homie don't swing that way, yo. Never have, never will. But if these people still look at me like I'm either race baiting or race appropriating, then already you've lost the argument and can get the fuck out of my face. I am who I am, and I am not changing anything for that I am for anyone, nor can I do anything to change what I am. So you can just sit there, grit your teeth, and shut the fuck up. Oh, and by the way, I'm also friends with bisexual people. So really, it doesn't matter to me who or what you are. If you're an at least semi-decent person and you're easy to talk to, then yeah, I'll give you all the respect in the world. But if you act like a total douchebag, then guess what? You're gonna get talked to like one. And yes, people, at one point, I did have jobs that made relatively low wages. But you know what? I didn't complain or whine. I didn't want any special treatment because I didn't want anyone to take any form of pity on me. And you know something? I fought, I scratched tooth and nail. I had it all, lost it all, and then got it all back again and made some new additions along the way, like with this new computer that I hand-built back in April. I even have an Xbox One S sitting in front of me with a small library of games for it, but considering that, I might have bagged on about it back in 2013, but things have changed for them. And you know what? I didn't care, because goddammit, I wanted to get Doom 2016 somehow. But that's another thing for the sidebar. All I'm getting at here is that I got what I have here with my own two hands, while all you're looking for is nothing but fucking handouts. You make me sick. Now, the thing I'm getting at overall is this. Not only has YouTube allowed all this shit while demonizing others in perhaps one of the most unjustifiable ways possible in the same manner, but then you have Twitch. Now, here is a platform that has all sorts of problems. You name me one right thing about it, and I'll show you 10 things about it that are wrong. What I'll give you is that, yes, there are those times when a streamer has a charity event going on. Case in point being the VTubers and Treya doing one for some kids organization, or even Josh Scorcher doing one for some prostate cancer research thing, or something for suicide prevention. I'll grant you those. Yes, it's also a platform where you can stream any known game under the yellow sun, but yet, there are certain ones Twitch does not allow you to play before a public audience. Yeah, okay, I see Rayplay being on there, but some of these other ones on that list are ones I've never even heard of. A few I've known about and have otherwise laughed it off, thinking of just how atrocious some of these looked, especially when they came out over a decade ago, like BMX XXX. And oh please, let's not even talk about Hoonie Pop 1 and 2. Despite those two games alone, have quite honestly some of the most shallow dating sim elements that I've ever seen, even for something that the central premise of is nothing more than a casual as fuck match 3 puzzle game. Plain and simple. Moving on from that. There's also certain things and topics you can't even bring up in your stream, politics being one of them, your own personal beliefs on something being another, but yet, here's where the double standard comes in once more. While you can't say certain things or play certain games on there, on the other side of the spectrum and far across the world, you also have people who either write the names of subscribers on their bodies or even displaying full nudity in front of a public audience, meaning full-on cash and prizes right there in your fucking face. Now, some people have gotten themselves banned for this and cried like absolute bitches for it, which makes this absolutely hilarious in hindsight, but then you have other people on the far side of the world who are also doing things like drinking beer, snorting lines of cocaine, or even wishing death on other people. Now, just for example, you remember Vegan Gains, right? And how he wanted to take a knife and slit someone's throat with it? Now, what happened with him? That psychotic freak was ratioed heavily to the point where he's now no longer relevant anymore. And you'll have grade A under A to thank for putting that piece of shit in his place. And by that, I mean he was a real piece of shit. Like a giant piece of shit took a massive shit, he'd be that piece of shit. But it's funny that you can't even mention politics, because at a couple points, Twitch even had Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on there playing Among Us for one, and then you also had Bernie Sanders on there at one point. And these are both, what again? Oh, right! They're both politicians! Well, more like political grifters, but you know, apples and oranges. But even then, the history of this website is just all there to see, black and white, clear as crystal. So tell me something here, Twitch. Are we allowed to say what's on our minds about stuff, or aren't we, for one thing? For another thing, how about this? Are you a platform or a publisher? Because you really need to get your priorities fucking straightened out if you're either of these things. Speaking of which, hey, Jack Dorselfin of Twitter. Yeah, you with that dorky fucking haircut that people are either calling man buns or bitch biscuits or what I like to call unacceptable trash these days. First of all, you didn't answer that same question when you and Mark Zuckerberg were brought before Congress, especially when all of us recall that you wrongfully suspended Donald Trump's personal Twitter page, especially hitting him with these little blurbs of where a piece of text appears that reads, "This tweet is disputed." Oh yeah, don't think I don't remember that one, you kitty-diddling fucknut. So again, we ask you this question again. Is Twitter either a publisher or a platform, because you can't have it both ways? Then we come to you, Facebook. Don't you dare think for 1 second I didn't see you there either, Mark Zuckerface, because even I got something to ask you. What happened in that data leak, huh? Where'd that get to? Did that get all shipped off to China? Were you paid off handsomely for it? What happened, you fish-faced fuckhead? Then again, you did the same thing with Trump by suspending his page too. So once again, don't think I don't notice this shit, because I do. So again, here's the same question I asked your butt buddy and Jack there. Publisher or platform? Don't say both, because once again, you're not having it both ways. Now, while you're stewing on these, let me get to something else. Now Now we come to the cancel culture mob itself. You fuckers. Woo, Nelly, you fuckers. Each and every single one of you. And I don't care who hates me for this, but I'm gonna say it anyway, because if you claim you hate us so much, then at this point, it's perfectly A-okay to hate you right back. You people are some of the most vile, despicable, hateful, horrid, double-talking creatures that have the nerve, the audacity to pass yourselves off as humans. Actually, wait. No, you're not human fucking beings. You're all nothing more than unorganized, grabastic pieces of amphibian shit that Gunnery Sergeant Hartman was talking about in Full Metal Jacket, may he rest in peace. But you know something? You've all demonstrated to me that you're nothing more than slime. You are all scum. No, even lower than that. But then again, I know full well what you dummies are going to say in response, that I'm just being too toxic, too mean, or that I'm upsetting your kids and I gotta tone it down because some of the things that I'm saying are just too triggering. Fuck that! You don't get that pass. Not with me. You've twisted the meaning of some of these words so much that you've made it almost impossible for some people who truly have certain mental conditions. Like things like, severe depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, trust issues, survivor's guilt, social phobias, or worse, suicidal tendencies. Yeah, you made all these people who truly have major issues like this all the butt of a fucking joke because you're so easily offended by little things like words, or even accidentally saying your pronouns wrong, which in some places like Canada can get your ass arrested for. So you know something? Go fuck yourself with a meat hook, every single last one of you rainbow-haired, horn-rimmed, eyeglass-wearing humanities, and you scrawny, pimple-faced, dogma-spewing, dickless, spineless, ballless, gutless, and clearly clueless fucking wastes of oxygen. Not one of you have truly gone through something like I have more than 6 fucking years ago, like when I was homeless. And you know what? I came back from the depths of that personal hell so goddamn fit, it would make even the Doomslayer want to give a thumbs up in respect. You want to make all those claims like you have? Fine. Or better yet, here's another thing you can do. You can just go sit down and shut the front-flipping fuck up with all those other whiny tit babies over there and wait for the next emo bitch who comes along and is even remotely more tolerant of your ass. Because let me tell you something. The amount of fucks I have left are sitting at... Yep. Looks like the fuck market just crashed. I am fresh out of fucks. Woohoo! Oh, but here's some more of that sweet, succulent taste of irony. Are you ready for this? Are you all sitting down? You got your plates? May want to get yourself a knife and fork while you're at it and get ready to dig into this one. Whenever one of your own comes along and comes across something that challenges their mind and makes them think differently, BAM! You're on that poor bastard like a pack of fucking hyenas. Or wait, here's another. Suppose they actually go up to another person that's proselytizing their dogma like it's the one true religion and that this is how it's the way to be. They instead ask questions that shows them how much of a duplicitous whack job they're acting like, and that person immediately gets shouted down and kicked out while the rest of the mob screams at them and throws shit at them on their way out the door. It's funny. I'm laughing. Oh, you slimy fucks are just too much. You ever wonder why some of your ilk gets featured in Karen/SJ Ownage segments? Or even get laughed at on Steven Crowder's Change My Mind segments? Well, there's your answer right there. Because it's so easy to make fun of you, to mock you, to harangue you when acting like a complete and total fuckwit, and yet you have the nerve to call it harassment, considering that before, you were the ones who decided to do the harassing first. Sorry, pumpkin spice breath, you can't carry 2 flags to your team's base in this game of CTF, so lower your double standards. Once again, you can't have it both ways, sweetie. That's never been how any of this works, so pick a fucking lane and drive the speed limit. Especially, if your account was based in the almighty, pulsating, nauseating, fetid, derelict, sweating, oozing, blood-gutted, pus-spewing bowels of where I think all of this began. Want to know what it is? You don't know? Well, let me tell you. Tumblr. Yes, The red-headed, overly freckled, drooling, mouth-breathing, nasally voiced, pimply-ass, sweat-stained, vote-for-Pedro shirt-wearing, CalArts-drawing, 5,000 metric ton bastard child that was wrought upon this unsuspecting world that somehow looks like what happened when Uncle WordPress was seen lecherously leering at the ass of Cousin Blogspot and thought, well, hot damn, I want me a piece of that. They get drunk one night and then... maybe that's a bit too much. Now, some of you might remember when I cut a rant about Tumblr a while back. I remember it well. I admit, it wasn't exactly my best, since I felt there was more to go on, and I could have, had I not made a few promises to some people to not name certain names out of respect to them. Fast forward up until about now, though, and I will still stand by my words that out of the most rotten hives of scum and villainy there are out there, you're the absolute worst, and I will never take any of that back, and I will be condemned to suffer an eternity of being stuck in a cuddle puddle at the hands of some furries at a convention in Texas if you think otherwise. Texas, of all places, man! Think about it! Do you have any idea of what that's even like? It's fucking terrifying! Now, you might recall when T-Bone and I declared open season on Google and YouTube as a whole a while back too, seeing that these fuckers were nothing more than jackbooted wearing brown shirts passing themselves off as people who are doing the quote-unquote honorable thing, saying that it's only for your own good. We swear. We just need you to clean up your ex, or otherwise we won't consider you all marketable. I mean, you'll be banned for it. Well, guess fucking what? I've been here for 12 years. So go ahead. Nuke it if you want to. Doesn't mean a goddamn thing to me. I've got all my videos backed up and ready to pick back up at a moment's notice for me to put onto another video hosting website. Sure, nearly 600 people might notice I'm gone. But to be honest with you, with how this website is going at this rate, you too will end up as nothing more than a little blip, while all the other alt-tech sites will just rumble on towards a brand new odyssey, whereas you will get left behind in the dustbin of history like so many others before you. Then again, who knows? I might just put up some new content on there on BitChute, because heaven forbid if I say something that's just a bit too spicy of a meatball for YouTube. No, you got to be careful, man, or you're gonna get Susan what? Geeky? Cece? Flichichi? Waluigi? Fuck it. I am not pronouncing that goddamn name, and you can't make me try because I don't speak fucking Austrian British, and I'll bite your nose off if you make me try, you daft cunt. Point being, right? What's another 12 years? I can always start again. Make another channel. But yet... Damn it. Why did you make me do this? You're working to watch everything around you go offline. Think, Google. You'll outlast every fragile, insignificant product and feature here on the internet. You'll live to see those same products and features crumble to dust and then blow away. Everyone and everything you know will be gone. What will you have after 500 updates? I know I won't get a straight answer from you. And I'm fine with that. Really and truly I am. At the same time, it's probably all for the best that I don't. But I know one thing. After those updates, especially to your draconian terms of service, where everything is anything but clear-cut and black and white about what you can say, what you can't say, how to say it, or whatever, let me tell you one thing you won't have. A user base. You can't just keep running from your own mistakes out there. You can't just hide everything away under all that rubble, because eventually you'll have people like me who has no association, no market shares, no other known aliases or affiliations or brands, or even runs a network, who comes along and blows a colossal white-hot fart in your face while you're hanging upside down from a Joshua tree. But hey, who cares what someone like me has to say, isn't that right? You're busy getting finger-fucked by your friends over there at places like, what was it? fuck. Someone remind me of what other networks or publishers are on here now. Right. You got Sky News. You got CBS, Viacom, NBC. Yeah, that's a good one. ESPN? Yeah, sure. Throw that one into the fire, too. Pretty sure no one's going to miss that. ABC, another good one. Right, keep going. Any others? BBC? Oh, okay, good one. I heard someone mention CNN. Oh, you want to talk about the top shelf of bad news anchoring. Holy shit. Yeah, buddy, chuck that shit right into the trash. Who knows how long that's gone sour for. What'd someone say? New York Times? Pfft, who fucking cares about them? BuzzFeed? Yeah. Send that one to the lowest circle of hell. Vox? Yep. Yeah. Come to think of it, they were the ones who caused this adpocalypse in the first place, which is what brought us to this point. IGN? Yeah. I don't think I know anyone. I don't think I know anyone who even likes them. Right. All those networks and publishers. All of them rammed fist first up your ass and using you like a ventriloquist's dummy. No one asked for these fuckers to show up here, you know. No, we were just fine being ourselves. But no, you had to get greedy for that big, meaty money cock, huh? Pfft, figures. You hoard yourself out worse than all of East LA, the south side of Chicago, Horseheads, New York, or even the west end of Boston combined. Hey, here's another suggestion for you next time, huh? Can you, not make it more obvious? I mean, if you didn't need us independent creators or people who just do this for a hobby or possibly even a career, then why'd you even bother with even half of this shit you pulled over the years? You could have just been so much more clearer on that. But oh well. Doesn't matter anymore. Just one more thing before I send you off with a massive boot print on your ass cheeks, and some of you might even know this old saying. Rome sure as hell wasn't built in a day, but at the rate you're going, you're sure as hell gonna burn down in one, and no one will ever remember you. Granted, there are the right ways in going about things, and yes, there are justifiable causes out there. There's thousands upon thousands of people who demonstrated the right way of how to go about things every single day, like big donation drives, for example, or maybe even getting a game or a comic lit on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or whatever. However, despite the immense power of positivity out there, there's always going to be that immeasurable negative element, which is why I'm only addressing the negative aspect. So here's what I got to say. In short, I close with this. Go fuck yourself. All of social media and the sick fucking culture that sprung up with it. I'll stick to being the lone gunman as I always was, as I always will be. And what becomes of me afterwards? Who knows? But just because I don't have a smartphone embedded in my arm or a tablet hardwired into my face 24/7, or that I'm constantly online all the time, doesn't mean that I'm some boomer who's pissed off at all this newfangled technology. A further note, just because you think you're some expert on an issue, when in reality you're no different than the common folk, there's one thing I want you all to remember in your most private, darkest, and restless nights. You're not. You're just not. What I'm looking for here is that I just want people to do better, or at least be better than what they're doing, and get their collective heads out of their asses and actually breathe the fresh air we all enjoy, or possibly even be part of something even bigger than themselves. But at this point, there's a small part of me that gets the impression that it might as well have been all for nothing, because it'll all start up again like a vicious circle, and it'll only keep rolling along with no end in sight until someone gets it in their heads that no matter who we are, where we came from, what neighborhood we all grew up in, where our grandparents met, what religion we are, what our skin color is, what gender we are, or what our sexual orientation is, or any of that hot garbage, and keep this in the back of your mind for the rest of you who still have more than 4 actively functioning brain cells that are capable of sparking of some sort of synapse. All I'm saying here is this. Try to forget that you're some special snowflake and don't fuck it up. POV. You after hearing this.
Ladies and germs, it's time thought we were gone forever. You thought it was all over back in 2019. Well, I'd like to be the first to tell you, after 15 years, you honestly think that I'm just going to give up and call it quits here? No, that's not going to be the case, especially not tonight on my 15th anniversary, November 6, 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Illogical Podcast. I am your host, T-Bone 2004, 15 years strong, hoping to go to 30. And you know, it has been a very long time. It has been a very long time since my heyday back in 2006. But I couldn't do this alone. I could never do this alone. Not a one person in this world that I owe this to than my co-creator, the one and only Blisterblood, my protege for the longest time.
Good God Almighty, it's been a long time coming, hasn't it, huh? And you know, for as far back as I can remember, ever since the days of 2009 and past that, I've had a pretty good run. But you know what? At this point, you know what? Fuck it. Let's have some fun, huh?
Exactly. And you know, that's exactly what I've always said about this whole entire ordeal from start to finish, even as far back as 2009. Even when I went away for about a year to Kuwait, I still kept true to it. Always have, always will. And you know, there was another person that came along in 2010 while I was away. This man, I cannot thank him enough for all he has done for me throughout the entirety of this time. I would like to introduce my former animator turned fellow panelist and longtime friend, Mutant Yoshi.
Please form your grave.
Oh my god, do we really have to do Sega Genesis?
Yeah, had to go there.
I gotta say, the Illogical Podcast is one hell of an altered beast.
In more ways than one, yeah.
Definitely. And it's like, yeah, these two have been a very important part of TILPC history. But of course, we still have one other person from the heyday of Tumblr. One of the first guests we ever had on TILPC who would later become a regular on the panel. You know him best for all of his My Little Pony works, then as all of his anime works, and for some reason, History of the Weather Channel. But you know what? That's okay. I don't mind that either. Mindless Gonzo, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, what's the weather looking like today?
It's cold.
Hey, it's a lot better than all that heat we had earlier.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, but it's now way too cold. It's like, last I checked, it was like in the 30s around my area.
I beg to differ. And yeah, it is in the 30s. That's great.
All I can say now is, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at the panel ever since 2012. Even when Mutant Yoshi was trolling the open mic sessions.
And now I'm going to be trolling on a panel.
You sneaky little bastard, you.
I wouldn't have it any other way. Otherwise, we'd have Gonzo doing that.
Yeah.
Who knows, he may just do that.
Who knows? Stranger things have happened.
But anyway, yes, 15 years. Oh my lord, have I seen 15 years of change with YouTube. You know, I'd like to go ahead and open this very special episode of TILPC with a little bit of a retrospective. Do you guys remember when YouTube was all about broadcasting yourself?
I do remember that.
Stick of YouTube.
Well, as a longtime user on YouTube, ever since 2006 until about 2011 when my account got hacked and I had to use another account, the one that's still active to this very day, I gotta say, looking back at 2011 when I had to reopen that account, I have to sit and wonder, how far have we come in 10 years?
That's a
How
good
far have we
question.
come since 2011?
Bit of a tough question there. I'd say
Very.
we came pretty far, but at the same time, the progress has been rather slow.
What progress?
Implying progress.
Yes.
Gonzo?
The progress that feels like is pretty much downhill. Ugh.
Well, let's stop for a minute, guys. Let's stop for a minute and let's talk about that for a minute. Where were we in 2011? Where exactly were we?
I was basically trying to.
2011, I think we were pretty much free to do what we want. The gameplay community on YouTube was pretty much thriving with the Let's Plays and everything, as was the commentary community. And they were around to actually help people. Well, while they were insulting people in a kind of a fun manner, they were doing it in a lighthearted way to kind of inform the people they were commentating on, try and help them improve anyway. But what happened?
Shit happened.
Exactly. Everyone took it as cyberbullying.
Gonzo?
Let's see. What was I doing in 2011? Oh yeah, I was transitioning from being kicked out of my house to getting my own place after a while.
Ooh.
Relatable.
Yeah, I could say the same thing. I was kind of in a position where I was pinching pennies to keep a roof over my head. But I can tell you this much, guys. There's three things that I have always seen in 2011 that I'm wondering, will it get better or will it get worse? And I'd like to take three things from 2011, and I want to compare it to now. Let's look at the Brony community, the Sonic fan base, and if I'm not mistaken, the commentary community in general. Those are the three things that I want to hit on, because 2011 we saw the premiere of MLP Friendship is Magic. Gonzo, you know that all too well.
Yeah.
In 2011, we saw the Sonic Renaissance with Sonic Generations. Yoshi, I think you know that all too well.
Oh boy, do I.
And in 2011, we saw like the birth of the 4th gen commentary community. Blister Blood, you and I both know how that went.
Hi there. Still here after all this time. Yeah, still a 4th gen commentator here.
Not only that, we gotta take into account that brought us a lot of the greatest memories we'll ever have on YouTube, including the goddamn motherfucking Toy Story.
Better known as
Yes.
the Tuh.
Oh, god damn it. Yes. The seriously.
Yeah, I mean, who could forget that
Oh, god damn it. And also Mr. LZMCG, of course. How could we possibly forget that? But I'll tell you something right now. It's like, as great as that time was, I mean, MLP was a meme, Sonic was back on top, and the commentary community was thriving. Well, for the most part. But I would like to fast forward 10 years later. So, let's look at that, shall we?
By all means.
2021. Where is the Brony fandom now?
Well, we've introduced Gen 5 because of the My Little Pony movie. Gen 4 it still has some activity, but they're slowly transitioning into liking Gen 5 and producing that kind of content. I've been keeping an eye on them, basically because I still have a Derpy Bro account.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah. Things are still pretty active. Some are liking it, some aren't. Still kind of a mixed bag, but yeah. What's
You
not?
know, it's funny because in 2019 we saw the series finale of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and I told the Brony fandom one thing. Guys, it's time to start moving forward. It's time to start moving forward. Because, let's face it, Gen 5, you guys are going to have to face the facts that the new generation is coming and everything like that. It's the same thing with Nickelodeon. People want to keep the Splat logo, but yet, I'm like, guys, that's pushing the old generation onto the new generation. Do we really want that? No, we don't. Also, add to the fact that the Brony fandom has quite frankly, one of the worst bronies out there right now.
Ain't that the fucking truth?
Also, not only that, I was about to bring up that whole thing of pushing the old generation onto the new generation. History has shown time and time again how well that worked out.
Not too
Oh.
well.
No, never. Not a once. But we'll get to that worst brony in just a moment, because I want to roll over to the Sonic community, because have we improved anything since 2011 with the Sonic Renaissance? I don't think so, because Sonic
What?
Boom. Holy shit.
Can I present a
Cartoon.
counter argument though that would eventually happen later though?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Of course.
That's right. Yes.
And I gotta say, Sonic Boom the cartoon was good. That was a good show. It was very entertaining, very funny, and all that. The game, however, ugh.
Yeah, I think we all know how much that basically just fucking completely died in a fire.
Knuckles jumping to the moon. That is all.
The glitches, the controls, the fucking slippery ice physics, I suppose you could say. It was just a complete and utter shit show.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I do want to bring up another little tidbit about the Sonic community in that regard. Has anybody noticed that people are still complaining in regards to the Sonic movie and, of course, Sonic Forces and the upcoming Sonic Rangers and everything?
What did I
People
say?
will,
It's the cycle.
Of
people will
course.
always complain. They're always finding something to complain. You can never please them. You just
Exactly.
might as
And
well
it
just take the praise where you get them and just not worry about the complaints. I'm afraid.
And
Block
like,
out the haters.
and like I've always said, and like I've said before, it's sort of like a vicious circle that just keeps rolling along and along until somebody gets it through their head that maybe it's not as bad as some people think it is, in some
That's what I've been
respects.
saying.
Not to mention, let's face it, Rally for Sally was an epic failure, to say the very least. Oh, I'm sorry, spoiler alert, Richard Kuda ruined that.
Thanks,
Sally-
asshole.
Sally
Never heard
is
of
an
that.
Archie character. She is not going to be in the games.
And,
When Whisper made it into the games.
and last I checked, I haven't seen her in the IDW comics. Just saying.
Yeah. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the third thing, because it's all going to tie together with this 10 years that have gone by. The commentary community. Oh boy, the commentary community. Where do I even begin?
I gotta say, I haven't seen a commentary pop up on YouTube in forever. Aside from
Right.
Blister Blood, of course.
Gee, I wonder why.
You know, it's actually kind of funny you mentioned this because, like, a lot of also the big commentary groups that I've also seen, and this all actually ties right into that because it just seems like at some point there was like, for some apparent reason, things were just working out between members, and there was like a whole shit pot of a controversy that was all stirred up, and it was just bad. I mean, it was unfortunate too, because like I actually wanted to, I wanted to work with some of these people and maybe end up, and funny story actually. I was almost brought into the Federation of the Exalted a while back,
I
but
remember that.
I ended up saying I'll think about it. And then afterwards, I think to myself, maybe it might have been for the best that I didn't.
Hmm.
I remember you mentioned that all those years ago, and I thought you had a shot in it at the time.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But then again, there are still some great commentators out there. We still have Just a Robot. We still have Smash Productions, or Smash Pictures, whatever he wants to go by. And we also have Youngblood Fantasy, among many others, which I'm surprised that Youngblood is still around to this very day. Ugh, yo, thanks Youngblood in Dolby Digital 5K surround sound.
Ooh-wee.
But I digress. The sad truth about the commentary community is that everyone's targeted. Everyone is targeted because of stupid, petty bullshit like cyber harassment, cyberbullying, cyber terrorism, cancel culture, and all kinds of bullshit. It's like the commentary community wasn't there to kick you in the ass and tell you you're stupid. No.
In some cases, it was. If I may interrupt there.
Go ahead.
In some cases, it was if somebody was being a complete and total douchebag. But otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, the lessons from the earlier generations were still there. We were just basically there to just, to entertain the masses and, well, try to point out some things that were wrong in some people's videos.
Exactly. It was for correction, and it was to help people improve. And that's what a lot of people didn't get.
I don't know. Shit's just gone haywire ever since then. But go on, T-Bone.
Okay, well, here's what I gotta say in that regard. I find it really hilarious that there are so many people in this world who will immediately call bullshit or any kind of stupid little thing on your commentary because, oh my god, my Fifi's got hurt. I mean, I'm surprised T-Moss Boss didn't respond to my commentary, which unfortunately I had to pull that down because I feel I unfairly judged him. The guy was a laughingstock and, he had his moment to shine. What's he doing now? TikTok.
Unsurprisingly, and probably still using his own name on there.
Be careful around T-Moss Boss, T-Bone.
Who cares? He's irrelevant anyway.
To me
Just
personally,
like very invalid.
Yeah, exactly. He's an invalid nickname to say the very least. But I digress as well because I feel like the only commentary that I felt like I was doing my old style with was with Zingo Dash not too long ago. If anybody remembers how that one went, my god, an hour-long expose. Holy shit. I think I am good in the commentary community from this point on. If I want to commentate on somebody, I'm going to commentate on them right here on TILPC. Just saying. Because if I had to do it on YouTube, oh my god, Susan Wojcicki, please drop the banhammer on me already. I've been here for 15 years and I've badmouthed a lot of people, and you could still sit there and say, we firmly believe that cyber harassment is not the way to go here on my YouTube. Why haven't you banned me yet?
Give it time.
Shit, I've been here for 12 years, and, the most I've gotten was no more than 2 community guideline strikes, like I've said.
I keep getting that constantly for old shit. Basically, one video, remember there was this one trend called accidentally jihad or something like that?
Uh-huh.
I got in trouble with that because it promoted terrorism. There were some videos that alluded to the September 11th attacks that was promoting terrorism.
Oh,
and
good lord.
We ended up, me and my friends for another podcast that I'm working with, we tried to break down and reacted to Project Veritas' videos about the Vax conspiracies, and we were struck down for promoting false and misleading information while the original videos are still up.
Now hold on there, Gonzo. Let's not get too political now, because let's face it, the cancel culture is probably eyeing us right now. And you know what? I'm just gonna stand up. I'm gonna say it. You know what? To the cancel culture and all the crybabies who want to cry cyberbullying and everything like that, I put both middle fingers up and say, "Fuck you." TILPC will still be here even after the fact. And if they want to ban us because of stupid commentary bullshit from the past, you know what? There's other platforms. There's other platforms. There's Vimeo. There's, God, what is it? Odyssey?
Yeah,
there's Odyssey. There's also BitChute, but I highly suggest not to go to BitChute.
There's also Rumble.
regardless of the fact there are many platforms. And if we get deplatformed on YouTube because people want to say that we're bullies and everything like that, again, double middle fingers, fuck you.
Yeah, just jump
Not
over
surprised
to
I
the
haven't.
next platform and be careful of the pits.
I just want to make a joke right here. I'm surprised I haven't got struck it down for the Balestia jumps yet.
Well, hey, if it makes,
True
if it
story,
makes
true
you
story.
feel any better, I received my first community guideline strike last year, and you'll never guess what it was for.
What was
Oh boy, what is it?
The Sonic Passion Rant.
Wait,
Really?
Yes. Okay. True story. Dylan Thomas on YouTube recently did a video when he was doing like an expose on Christian and everything, and he had mentioned that Alex Henriel is paying Google several hundreds of dollars to have every single video ever made about Sonic Passion pulled off the internet.
No.
No way.
Yes.
Are you serious?
And yours truly was one of the few that got targeted.
Oh fuck.
So I am.
That's the Benz, bro.
So guess what? I'm not going to be monetized. But you know what I say to that? Bite me. I am not buying into YouTube.
I don't think anybody is anymore at this point, because as far as I know, YouTube just seems to be going one step forward and, I don't know, about 2,000 steps back.
Pretty much. Actually, 2000 might be a little nice.
Of course.
Hmm.
All I'm going to say is, where are we from 2011 to 2021? I say we have gone far back as far as going forward is concerned, you know?
Unfortunately.
Why do you think I say is downhill?
But I will say this. The Sonic the Hedgehog movie was good. Gen 5 My Little Pony, you do you. And the commentary community, if anybody's going to start doing commentaries in this current generation, I want to say this. On behalf of myself and Blister Blood of the commentary community, and to an extent, Yoshi, you did do that one on Sammy Classic Sonic Fan.
Yep. By the
We
way,
wish-
found out he's a troll. I gladly admit that I've been trolled.
Mhm. All I will say... Go ahead.
I was about to say, anyway?
Yeah. From all of us at TILPC to the commentary community of the current generation, good luck out there. Find some good lolsy people. Do not go into politics. Do not go into anti-vax. Do not go into vax. And whatever you do, please, for the love of God, do not go after Christian anymore. I'm saying this on behalf of everybody. Please, do not go after Christian anymore. He is in prison, awaiting trial. He is a dead horse. It is done.
It's over.
He won't hurt us anymore. At least for now, I think.
We can only hope.
Well,
For now,
November
yeah.
12th. November 12th is around the corner, so we'll see what happens from there. And besides, guys, Richard Kuda. He's fresh meat right now. He's been fresh meat for the longest time. And you know what? It's open season on him. Go get him.
Oh, I'm just waiting for a certain someone to go after him again.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes in a long time. But then again, not only Richard Kuda, but there's also his protege, Alex Hedgefox.
Really
Oh,
now?
No, he has a protege now?
Oh yeah, Alex Hedgefox. If you're not familiar with Alex Hedgefox, he is also a quote-unquote true Sonic fan.
Oh no.
Oh, boy.
Great.
Not to
Great.
not,
No true Scotsman fallacy becomes real.
not to mention the fact that he was also spearheading Rally for Sally.
Oh my god.
The fact that he and Richard Kuda paid several $100s to multiple voice actors to all join into the whole entire ordeal, even going so far to get Jaleel White involved.
What a waste of money.
I mean, I will I will give Jaleel White this. I mean, I'm glad that he jumped on. I mean, that's cool and all. I mean, for God's sakes, Jaleel White even did a birthday shout out to Joshua Montag, which I still say, hey, kudos to Josh for getting that.
That's awesome.
But the sad truth is, and I'm pretty sure Richard Kuda probably pissed his diapers when this happened, Kath Soucie, the original voice of Sally Acorn, declined to do the Rally for Sally thing.
Amazing.
Why does this not surprise me?
So, he and Alex Hedgefox had to get Laura Blue, which, I'm going to say this. Laura is a great voice actor, I'll give her that. It's just, why do you have to work with that maniac? Why do you have to work with that maniac? But
Money, I guess.
yeah, money. That's always the thing. Money is the root of all things. Well, anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next topic. And to be quite honest, I need to get away from 10 years of bullshit and everything like that because we certainly haven't improved as far as our communities go. And you know, it's funny. Mutant Yoshi brought up something very, very interesting as of late. Not only is the community starting to degrade, but it's gotten so bad that even something as simple as logos are becoming degraded to the point where they're just absolutely fucking stupid. With that in mind, Mutant Yoshi, why don't you share your little tidbit about oversimplification of logos?
Alright, it's great to be back on the Illogical podcast after... Gosh, how long has it even been? Feels like it's been forever, hasn't it? Anyway, to quote T-Bone, you know what I can't stand? The oversimplification of logos. That's right. Companies are going backwards on the evolutionary scale. Instead of innovating and making something eye-catching and appealing, they're reverting, becoming as bland as they possibly can. It's like every company is in a race to see who can be the same thing the fastest. Simplifying things can be great and all, but if you go too far, then the consumer won't have any interest at all. Let's take a look at Microsoft, for example. Let's look at the Windows logo. Remember Windows 98? Take a good look at this. See how detailed everything is. You know this is Windows just by looking at it. Flash forward to Windows XP. It's got a sleek, updated look. It looks alright, looks pretty decent. But then you go forward even more and it just looks like 4 generic squares now. I mean, you can still tell that it's Windows, so this isn't the most egregious example. No, it gets worse from here. Now let's take a look at Bandai Namco. You know that old game company. Just take a look at the orange logo. Just by looking at this logo alone, you can tell something's a Bandai Namco product, can't you? It's eye-catching, it's familiar, people will recognize it the instant they see it, right? Well, let's take a look at the new logo. Are you seeing this? This doesn't look like a company logo. If anything, it looks more like the logo for a Twitch channel. This looks just like the logo for Twitch TV. I mean, you can't even tell this is Bandai Namco anymore just by the name alone. I mean, if the name wasn't there, then you wouldn't be able to tell. This doesn't look innovative at all. It just looks bland and generic, as I said before. But not all companies are doing this. I mean, some seem to get the message these days. Let's take a look at the Peugeot logo. You see, at first it's just this silver lion just standing up. It looks alright, but let's look at the new logo. You see how cool this looks? This is what a company does updates right. This is what they should be doing. They should be updating to make things look even better, not more boring. I mean, you have this badass lion on a shield. How could that be considered boring as opposed to just 4 colored squares? Or even a text box in a bubble. Peugeot here, unlike Microsoft and Bandai Namco, they have the right idea here.
Wow. Yoshi, I can't believe that you would go into ranting like I would.
Hey, what can I say? I learned from the best.
Oh, come on, man, you flatter me. You're flattering me. But in all honesty, though, I do agree with you because, you know, the oversimplification of logos, my God, I don't understand why they're doing this. Like, why they want to make the product look nothing like the logo. It's like, that's bad marketing and bad advertising.
Exactly. If everything looks the same, then people aren't going to be interested in the product.
You know, it's kind of funny you mentioned this because I think Syndrome even said it best in The Incredibles when he said, when everyone's super, no one will be.
Exactly.
And you know, it kind of reminds me of something, and I'm pretty sure Gonzo would agree with me on this.
Hmm?
Don't you think that the Weather Channel logo looks kind of bland now? I mean, like, you have that nice little rounded circle, and now it's like, it looks like something you'd see on a phone app.
Pretty much. I haven't checked the Weather Channel as of recently, but with that one little history thing, yeah, I kind of saw that.
It's like, what am I looking at? It looks like something you'd, like, click on your phone and be like, oh, let's see what the weather looks like. Click. But
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, it's just that whether or not the logo looks good, it just seems to be degrading over time.
Oh my God, really with the dad jokes?
Hey.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I would make a Destiny quote, but I'm not going to do that because I'm above that.
Are you now?
Well, I mean, let's face it, whether we wanted it or not, we stepped into a war with the Cabal on Mars. I'm not going to go into any further than that because if I do, then I'm going to start quoting Destiny.
Yeah, but come on, you can't just shoot a hole through Mars.
Or Moon, for that matter.
Proceeds to shoot a hole through Mars.
I guess you could say that I'm sophisticated. I guess it's because I have balls of steel.
Hey.
But what are we talking about again? Logos?
Yes, oversimplified logos at that.
You know, I've seen many more than that. Not just the Weather Channel and not just like the Namco Bandai logo or Peugeot or anything like that. You know, why can't they just stick to something like, oh, I don't know, Chevrolet or Dodge or anything like that? Or maybe Rite Aid or anything. Wait, is Rite Aid still a thing?
I'd never even heard of that.
Right,
Oh my God, guys. Is it just me or are we starting to sound like Guptil 89 right now?
It's just the swoosh.
Look at the Chrysler logo.
We're just picking on you, Guptil. No hard feelings.
Yeah, seriously, Dylan. We love you, man. You're awesome.
And the last difficulty nightmare isn't even remotely fair.
Oh, come on now, mutants. Cut the guy some slack. I'm pretty sure Guptil's beaten Doom Eternal on Ultra Nightmare and we don't even know about it.
Yeah, don't
For
worry,
all-
I'm just teasing them.
For all we know, Guptil's probably a Chad right now.
Who
Who
knows?
knows?
Well,
But-
it's more of one than a certain someone. I'll tell you that right now.
I mean, let's face it, it could be worse. They could change the Sonic Team logo to have Sonic with blue arms.
Please,
Oh,
please,
Lord.
not my arms. No.
And they never should have changed the color of Tomatopotamus's legs.
Yeah, it just doesn't really connect with the new people of today.
Not to mention, it's the kind of shit that would make somebody go into sensory overload and then go into a GameStop and pepper spray somebody. By the way, don't call anybody. Okay, we need to stop riffing on Chris Chan. Remember, Chris Chan's in prison. Let's leave him alone.
Dead horse.
There are better people like Richard Kuda
Yes.
and Alex Hedgefox.
And Richard Kuda is who I was talking about anyway.
Oh, and it's funny. I just thought of this just now. Let's look at Discord's logo, and let's look at Facebook's new logo.
Wait, Discord's logo
Well,
changed?
It's kind of.
It's kind of different.
The lettering just seems different. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, I could still see like the little chat box and everything like that. I could still see that. I mean, that's cool and all. It's just the lettering. I'm like, what? When did that happen?
I didn't even notice anything personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny that you mentioned this because, like, they did mention that, like, the only reason as to why they changed the logo ever so slightly was because of the fact that there was actually something that was asymmetrical about it. Like like a one part of the logo was like sticking out a little bit further than the other.
Interesting.
And then there's Facebook. Like that recent change to Facebook's logo. I'm like, what? Are you trying to take a... It's like, you've already pretty much made it like a fascist like little thing for Facebook, where it's like, you can't say certain things, you can't do certain things on Facebook, you can't joke around about certain things. Even if it's not even remotely malicious, you can't joke about it. But now they changed the logo to make it look more corporate.
I guess we should just face the facts and throw the book at them.
God damn it, Yoshi!
Wait. I got another one for you. Hey, Facebook. How about you do us all a favor and do what the WWE did and just get the F out?
Yes.
Oh, God, yes! Hey, then you know what? If that happened, we'd have Acebook!
That's
Hey.
actually a pretty badass name, not gonna lie.
Acebook? Hey, you know what? I should probably start that. You know what? To my TILPC staff right now, we need to get to work on that. We need to make Acebook. Let's make it happen. We'll stick it to Mark Zuckerberg right there.
Oh, yes.
But you know what's that, Blood?
I'm just saying. I believe I've said all I need to say about that.
Yeah, the pre-show, guys. The pre-show. If you saw that earlier. Oh yeah. But I digress. I'm looking at mindless Gonzo right now. He hasn't said very much.
I haven't had much to say, really.
Well, that's because I think it's time we turned it over to you because, back in 2014, you had a wonderful segment that I enjoyed called Florida Man.
Uh-huh.
But if I'm not mistaken, it's time to evolve. It is time to move beyond Florida Man and take a look at the entire United States as well. So, Gonzo, let's say we introduce a new segment to TILPC. Why don't you take us into it?
All right.
Let's go.
Please pay attention to the monitor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Karen of the Month. This is a segment T-Bone has asked me to helm personally to find the most Karen story to bring to the table. To put it simply, Karens are mostly women who are spoiled to the core and are such short-tempered, the slightest inconvenience or a simple no will make her erupt into a tornado of fury and chaos. That winds up getting documented quickly on someone's phone and onto social media to mock and to entertain us poor saps. Many sport the expensive sunglasses, a pixie haircut, kids running around her, a coffee in one hand, a bag with enough items to overturn a small government, and her own overpriced smartphone, loaded with enough entitlement to really test the old adage that the customer is always right. No matter if the coupons have expired during the days of Y2K, or the coffee is just 1 degree colder than they liked, or if the waiting period is just 1 minute longer.
I know,
The
way
Karen
too
can
many of
be
those.
everywhere and can take on many forms. Some with brown hair, some who turn out to be male, some who are of an entirely different ethnicity.
Ain't that the fucking
For
truth?
this story, the Karen turned out to be a dragon lady with huge red hair.
Huh?
And I got this from the most unlikely of sources. A conversation on VR chat. A couple of weeks
Oh,
ago, I was
boy.
chilling with friends in an
No
arcade
debate.
recreational world, talking of VTubers, sporting mostly HoloLive avatars. The conversation moved around to one of my friends who was skeptical about English VTubers, especially of the American company V Shoujo,
Huh?
home of the likes of Project Melody,
I'll tell you later.
Manners, Iron Mouse. The experience with
I'm
V
familiar with
Shoujo
Iron
went
Mouse.
sour when my friend experienced Zentreya. Zentreya started as a mute player who sported a military uniform before being picked up by V Shoujo in November 2020, reinventing herself as a dragon lady with a text-to-speech voice, a knack for drumming, and a gecko joke form to meme through. One particular
like such
day,
a
she
thought.
broke out of character on Twitter to lash out against some people, my friend included. The date was January 6, 2021, sometime before 11:30 p.m. as I could surmise with the surviving tweet a Google search could find. My friend said he
You're on
remembers
politics,
Zentreya
but
demanding
trust me,
Trump
it's
followers
gonna be
to
less of
unfollow
that.
her. I can only surmise that she was very angry about the riots at Capitol Hill, with the attendees of the Stop the Steal rally storming both houses during the Electoral College certification just to keep this guy in office.
Oh my god.
Oh
My
my
buddy, along
lord.
with people like to survive and reply, pleaded and warned Zen of taking political stances as an entertainer, especially with such a divisive, toxic, and downright dangerous political climate, especially where it infests the most: social media, evident
what
with
I
the recent
thought.
releases of the Facebook papers.
Of course.
Especially in an era when one wrong opinion can initiate calls of cancel culture rampage.
Cancel
fresh in
culture.
people's minds still was the political entanglement of October of 2020, when Kiryu Koko, another Dragon Lady VTuber who
I remember
retired
that.
and lived on as Kason on air, and Akai Hato, a VTuber idol with a grim backstory, was in trouble with China for showing YouTube analytics that classified Taiwan as a country.
What?
They got
Huh?
in deep trouble
true.
over that.
True.
And nobody wants that to happen to their VTubers.
No, nobody does.
Unfortunately, Zentreya, logic tossed to the wind, so did caution, decided to morph into her third form, a Karen. After tweeting, "This is something that needs to be spoken up about regardless of my previous stances," she started...
Oh, dear lord.
blocking. She
What a
even blocked
horrible
my
evolution.
friend for trying to talk her out of going this hard into political stances, especially when people are seeking VTubers as a way to drown out the sad world we live in. Knowing my luck, others had to be blocked before she was eventually forced to delete the tweet and suffer losses of subs and followers due to the outburst.
Shame on you,
The thing
Zentreya.
is, people can have opinions. They're legally in their
I
right
hope
to do so.
Gargura bites you in the
And
ass.
Zen is no exception to this. These opinions can range from the common opinion of pedophilia feels wrong, specifics
Which it
like
is.
Phibia isn't that good,
It's illegal.
or as weird as Russian Badger's opinion that Rainbow Six Siege's buggy test servers can be fun with the right mindset.
Yeah, yeah.
But how you handle when your opinions can have consequences, and when people try to stop you before the damage of saying the wrong thing can be done, is what separates the normies and the sane from the carrots. Just remember to take the time to cool off before you reply with that loaded retort of yours, or hit the block button. Otherwise, you too might wind up a Karen.
That
After
should
all,
be how you. That should be how you end your segments. You too could end up a Karen.
That. I think we have found ourselves the replacement for Florida Man, ladies and gentlemen. Minus Gonzo, everybody.
Thoughts?
you know, after everything that I basically said about Zentreya in my pre-show, where she basically did all those donation drives for all the what you call it, all the donation drives for like to support like things like St. Jude's Hospital and shit like that and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still good that she does all that, but at the same time, with this all happening, I'm sadly disappointed.
I think she's.
Thankfully, though, this was a short-lived episode, and I don't think she has done anything worse since.
Good.
That's still a bit of a
That's
black-eyed that she rightfully deserved, if you ask me.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll just go ahead and retract what I said. I don't think Gargura would want to bite her in the ass.
Yeah, and I'm not sure Calliope Mori would even reap her soul.
Yes, and we're going to say it right now. A lot of us, we are fans of Hollow Live. Support those girls. They need it.
And of course,
I mean...
yeah, I was going to say, despite all that, I may be more of a V-shoujo type of guy, but at the same time, I gotta be a little bit selective with what I see in them.
Yeah.
I mean, so far, the most ideal one that you could probably have a good idea of fun with is Iron Mounds, at least.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, the segments between her and Snuffy, absolute comedy gold right there.
Ah, Snuffy. Oh,
By the way,
a man of taste, I see.
I tip my hat.
Do what now?
Uh,
Do what now, Mutant?
I said, shoutouts to Korone.
Hey, you know what? Gura and Korone, Yoshi, right there. Pound them. Pound them.
oh, Lord.
Alright, well, gosh, guys. Karen of the Month. We are definitely going to be doing these on every episode of TILPC from now on. Like I said, Florida Man has been gracefully, or should I say ungracefully, retired. Let him wander away into the shallow depths of the Everglades and let him get mauled by the alligators. I was about to say crocodiles, but crocodiles are in Australia.
I don't know, but at the same time, it just seems to me that Florida Man's been gaining a lot of strength as of recently. It's actually kind of fucking terrifying.
I'm surprised Florida Man has not been killed off by COVID. But then again, what can kill a Florida Man?
Well, I'll
Nothing,
tell you
apparently.
Well, I'll tell you what could. A Karen. And I think we're going to go ahead and continue with that from this point forward. So, with that in mind, guys, I want to say to my panel, this would have been where we ended the show, but for this special 15th anniversary of TILPC, well, I should say 15th anniversary of T-Bone, it's not the 15th anniversary of TILPC, that will be until what I think would be 2027.
I think.
Hopefully we'll be together by then.
We will still be together. There will be no hopefully. It will be. I want to take this opportunity to do a special open mic. We weren't going to do this because the fact that we are not really doing this on the Craigbot here on Discord. Instead, we got our wonderful Blister Blood recording. So, instead, we got the stage open. I'm going to open it up to 3 people. We're doing a surprise open mic session. 3 to 4 people. Bard's looking for you guys right now. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick the first one that's raised their hand, and that's going to be Opera Diva. So, Opera Diva, you are on the Illogical Podcast. What would you like to share with us?
Oh, I was muted. I am so sorry.
It's all right. Don't worry about that.
Anyways,
No, I'm actually pretty excited about this. This thing's gonna be it's gonna be real fun.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
I've already been laughing my ass off for the last half an hour.
Really
you're
now?
enjoying the broadcast.
Regardless of the fact, though, what did you happen to think of our wonderful Karen of the Month?
Oh, good God. I think what would... I don't know if I want to say... It's just, oh my God. I see so many Karen videos that pop up. It's like, ah!
Yeah, just how
But
do
I wanna
we
get- I
manage
just wanna
all those videos?
Go through the screen and just like, shut the hell up.
I tell you, there's a lot of them out there, and I'm not sure if you've ever ran into one personally.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can safely say without a shadow of a doubt that I've ran into several myself. mostly in the retail business, but also in the hospitality business at a casino.
Oh wow.
Even I could relate to something like that. During a time when I was working at a certain supermarket in my hometown. Well, not necessarily in my hometown, but like more like out of town, I should say. Especially this one time. Is right if I go into the story a little bit, and we'll get back to you in a little bit there, Diva.
No.
All right.
Let's go. I had one.
Yeah, I was gonna...
Actually, it wasn't me, but it was one of my colleagues, because I'm a manager for a store.
Mhm.
They had to call me because this lady said, "Oh, I wanted to return this, but I bought this in May." And my colleague said no because it's a 30-day return policy. And she's like, "Oh, why don't you call somebody above your head?" And he's like, "Okay." So I get a phone call, and he's like, "Hey, this lady wants to return this and wants to get a refund, but it's she said she doesn't have the receipt and she doesn't know. All she remembers is that she bought it in May." I'm like, "No. First of all, we don't return chemicals. Second of all, it's past 30 days."
Oh
He's like,
boy.
"Okay." So we hang up, and then all of a sudden he calls me back like 10 minutes later, and she's just like going off on him. She's like, "No, you need to call somebody else who's above you." He's like, "I just did." And then she just walks out and left the product there on the counter.
Well, of course she'd want to talk to you.
Well, I wasn't there. I was off.
You know,
Wow.
yeah, like I said, when you say all that, like I said, this reminds me of that one time when I was working at that Stop and Shop over there in Providence, and I just think to myself, and this was just a pretty bog standard day. Nothing was really going on. I was called on to do a clean sweep, which you go through the aisles, scan the barcodes, clean up any messes that you see around, and just general maintenance and sorts. So the thing of it is, and I think I may have relayed the story on Facebook once, but like I'm just gonna expand on it a little bit here. I was going over towards the women's restroom, right? And I give 3 really hard knocks on the door just to let somebody know that I was coming in, because that's the standard thing.
Yeah.
The thing of it is, I didn't hear a response, right? So
Yeah.
I go into the bathroom. I turn to then scan the barcode just so I can get on my merry way and just fill out the sheet that says, yeah, I did this at such and such time. Just as I was turning to leave, I had my first encounter with a Karen. And this one was exactly what you were talking about there, Gonzo, because this one had just this mean looking face, brown, short clipped brown hair, and I think she had to have been like her mid 40s, early 50s, right? She then gets all huffy and puffy about the fact that I was in there, and then I of course didn't say anything because I was still on the clock and I still had things to do and all that. She gets all bitched out about it and then threatens to go to the manager about it. I turn to leave, just ignoring her, and just move on. Nothing happened for about, like, say, 5 to 10 minutes up until a manager, and this guy was as cool as a moose, though. This guy ends up pulling me to the side and says to me, "Hey, try to be a little bit more sensitive about it." And at which point I then said to him, "Hey, I see no debate in that and all. Like, really, really and truly, I perfectly understand." The thing is, however, when I got out of the store after I punched out, I think this is like a 4 maybe 5 hour shift, I think it was. I was steaming fucking mad. Like, this bitch had the nerve to basically get on my case just for basically doing my job, all right? And like, I even asked this question on Facebook, like, where I said, what purpose does my job serve? What purpose does, like, why did I have to go to work there on that day? What was the reason for any of it? But then I realized it was basically still in the year, I think this was 2018, I think it was, where everybody still gets all bitched out about even the slightest little thing in the world. And, you know, it just surprises me to no end that there's still people like this out there now. But I suppose that's another subject for another time. I don't know. People just make me sick.
Yeah, there's never a shortage of Karens and people like that. They think, oh, you have to bend to my will. I could tell you stories about the casino when I was a barback or when I was a janitor. Either way, it sucked both ways. I'm pretty sure Diva could agree with you. And excuse you there, Blood.
That's all I got to say on that.
Well, either way, Diva, thanks a lot for sharing your stuff with us. We really do appreciate you, and thanks for joining us in the audience. Awesome.
Ah, the fuck's that?
What in the world just happened?
Something fell, it sounds like.
Yeah, something just fell out of no fucking reason. I don't know why.
Oh,
That was
lordy.
strange.
Lordy, lordy, lordy. I mean, it always happens on TILPC. Something's got to go wrong, something's got to go crazy, and everything like that.
It's not inexpensive. It's just a cheap ass box fan. Don't worry.
It's all good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick another person to join in. We're going to go with Gerla Pureheart, one of my longest fans from the T-Bone 2004 days, and, well, still T-Bone 2004, but nonetheless, Gerla Pureheart, you are now on the Illogical Podcast.
There we go. You guys can hear me?
Yes, we can finally hear you. Gerla Pureheart, you are now on the Illogical Podcast.
We hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on.
You're good.
It's all good.
First of all, T-Bone, you guys, congratulations on reaching the 15th anniversary of the Logical Podcast.
Well, actually, it's
That'll
the
be in 6
15th
more
anniversary.
years.
Actually, it's the 15th anniversary of my T-Bone 2004 channel founding. But nonetheless, I get what you're saying, and thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
If anything, show up for the 10th anniversary of the Illogical Podcast next year on October 20th next year.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. And I hope it'll be a lot, well, I hope it'll be a lot great next year, too. So...
It will be, provided we get enough, get the viewership up and everything like that. We get out there again like we were back in 2012, and trust me, we will get back to where we were in 2012, everybody. I assure you of that.
Oh yes, and I don't think I remember seeing the podcast back then. I do remember watching your videos back in 2009, and I love it. And looking back where you're coming from, you got a lot better over the years.
Some things tend to get better with age. If you don't mind me asking, what was one of your favorite videos then?
Oh gosh, I actually you remember the Marley Show? Why I hate the Marley Show video? That video is one of my favorites.
Good Lord. I swear it's like that has got to... I agree with you 100%. That was one of the best videos. I still stand by this. I can't believe it took me 5 months to actually make that thing. I'm like... I could have made it in like 3 days. But no, 5 months.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Because I had to record episodes and then had to splice them all together with the... excuse me, my voice is going out and I'm starting to squeak a little bit. Allergies.
That's okay.
But anyways, yeah, it's like recording the episodes off of a flash drive and everything like that. Then getting on Windows Movie Maker, and then
Oh
good lord,
yeah.
anybody who's ever used Windows Movie Maker knows the pain that thing gives.
Oh yeah. I remember the crashes there too.
Oh yeah.
But I digress because I made stellar content with that, despite the fact it crashed all the time.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens. When I try to render a video, it crashes. I mean, I lose all the save files. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
oh god, I had to start everything all over again. That's one of the pet peeves of video editing.
Pain and suffering is all that you will ever know.
It is the nature of the beast. Luckily, I've got an entire crew to work on my videos now, so it's like I don't have to worry about that ever again. But to be honest, I kind of want to get Movie Maker again just to show people like, here's a T-Bone 2004 video from this time. Now here's a T-Bone 2004 video when I got my crew. And I don't know why I paused when I said T-Bone 2004 video. I still got my mannerisms.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Nonetheless, though, I really do appreciate you sticking around for this long. I mean, it's like it's great to know that I've got such awesome fans that stick around for after all these years. It's kind of humbling.
Yeah, I mean, it's really amazing and nice. I mean, it's really amazing that, talking to you again after what's going on, and I'm glad everything is taken care of. And
Well, it's like with all the nonsense that happened back in like 2018 and 2019 leading up to, well, the worst of it, and I'm not gonna say it on air, but I am gonna say, let's just say we're still dealing with something. But to this day, it's good to know that, like, even in these uncertain times, it's good to know that there's still people that still watch my stuff, and also I can also bring a smile to their face. So, thank you, Lily. That really is awesome of you.
No problem.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad to be on here.
Yeah, we're always glad to have you on here.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a good night, and
You too.
see you guys in a brighter later.
Oh, we will be in the brighter later before too long. Oh wait, is that a Youngblood fantasy reference?
I totally caught that.
Oh my good Lord have mercy, Youngblood, ugh, your face in Dolby Digital 5K audio.
Yes. I actually got that from him when I was watching his videos, and I'm actually surprised I have that. Remember that.
It's like I can't. It's like I couldn't believe I couldn't remember that until you said that. It's like brighter later, and it's like all of a sudden I think Youngblood fantasy. Well, thanks a lot, girl. We appreciate you.
No problem. Take it easy, guys.
You too.
You too.
Have fun.
Alrighty then. Good Lord have mercy. Like, how could I forget Youngblood fantasy? My God, Youngblood, please come on the Illogical podcast, man. We'd love to have you sometime. Wait, didn't we have Youngblood fantasy on TILPC a long time ago?
I think we
I
did
think
for
we
some
did.
apparent reason. Like, I don't know why.
I could have swore at one point we did have Youngblood fantasy on there. I don't know. I don't know. It's just. All right, last thing. I think we can get like 2 more people in. Let's see who else wants to be on here. If you want to be in the open mic, by all means, raise your hand and let's hear what you got. Let's get somebody else into here right now. Dan Chai, you are now on the Illogical podcast.
Namaskar, mera dost. That means hello, friends, in Hindi.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, you know what? I don't think
Namaste.
we have never had anybody from that region. This is actually a TILPC first.
Well, more like that descent, but yeah, I guess I guess I count. Although I was born and lived in America all my life.
Hey, you know what? That's cool. Regardless of the fact that's like, I love the fact that we have multicultural
Representation.
Thank you. Thank you. I was on the tip of my tongue. You gotta forgive me. I'm doing this on the fly. I'm not scripted. I've never been scripted. I never will be scripted. But
You're cool. You're cool.
anyway, what you gotta say for us, man?
Well, I just want to say that many of you, T-Bone and Blistered, or for example, like many of you have been inspirations for me to like make commentaries or any form of content, and maybe even well, let's see. There's T-Bone, Blistered, obviously Youngblood.
Of course.
But also another one is my buddy Gil, aka Space Guru 5.
Oh God, Space Guru 5, man. Me and him, we've been going round and round with a secret project. Don't tell anybody about it, though.
I don't even know what it is.
Lips are sealed.
Don't tell anybody about it, though.
Hey, ignorance is bliss. The less I know, the better.
Yes, right there, right there. But yeah, it's like, well, what do you think? Like, anything you want to share with us, or any of the topics, or anything you like to,
I've been following you guys for a long time. Before you say anything, T-Bone, this is before you and I became like boys. But it's like it's hard to believe that we're all talking in like the same room. You, me, Blistered, Moon Yoshi, and Mindless Gonzo. It's like, holy smokes, what have I gotten myself into?
You've gotten yourself into one of the most iconic podcasts among the commentary community.
Point taken. And on the note about commentary community, you did mention that you would have a team behind you. Well, that actually inspires me to get more into commentaries, but also if I'm gonna make like a big project, I'm gonna learn to trust various people. So does it come? I know people are gonna say, well, is it really yours if other people are helping you? Here's the thing. Yeah, you have to acknowledge everyone in your team. However, that being said, it's your product at the end of the day, and as long as you appreciate your team, you should be golden. And what do you think this podcast exists? It's not just T-Bone.
Exactly. That's exactly what I've been saying ever since the build-up to the 15th anniversary stream. I've been telling them, guys, this is not just about my 15 years on YouTube. No, this is for everyone, because I want to make this like a actual community-wide thing to share with everyone. You hit the nail right on the head there, Dan.
Absolutely. And I'm glad to be part of that community. It's because of certain situations where I got to meet people like there's you, there's Blistered Blood, there's Bard, there's Josh, and granted I knew Gil. Yeah, and also new people like Mutant Yoshi and Mindless Gonzo and various others. It's like, who would have known I would have started as from someone on the outside of the commentary community to be like a certain section of a commentary community? It's crazy.
Ain't that funny how that works out? Because
yeah.
because here's the funny thing about that. Even when I first got started into commentaries, which actually I think it didn't hit me until like maybe 2010 or 11. But the thing of it is, I started out watching people like Slap Happy Gamer, Supersonic 407, Rashutsu Rises. But the thing of it is that the video making bug didn't get me until like about maybe 2011, I want to say. And then
I think that was when you made your first commentary, I believe.
I believe so, yes. But the thing of it is that it's kind of funny actually being a part of all this, to be a part of something even bigger than it ever was. As I've mentioned before, this is exactly what it is I was talking about.
And even hell, even to the point where I even made some of my own commentaries. Now, granted, I'll admit, hands up, they're not that good. It's just me awkwardly fidgeting in front of a camera, just talking.
We all started out that way.
Hey, you'll only get better.
Yeah. But as of recently, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go into avatars and eventually, do audio mainly because it's like I'm too awkward. Like I said, I'm too awkward in front of the camera. If you've ever seen any of my commentaries, this is what you don't do because one, I didn't have a script. Two, I was pretty much rocking or fidgeting everywhere because due to having Asperger's, I do tend to be really nervous in front of the camera.
We've all been there.
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, you should have seen my very first commentary I did. It was on Tuner 1994, and I'm gonna admit this. It wasn't on myself as the first commentary I ever did. No, it was on Tuner 1994. So I know the I know the awkwardness. It is a motherfucker. It really, really is.
It's a bitch.
Yeah. But I know people are gonna have a lot of qualms about the commentary community, and for good reason. But I think but why do I still want to do this stuff? Some person might ask. Well, maybe because it's fun, it's entertaining. Granted, it's not gonna be like a full-time job or earn me money, but it's like, who gives a shit? It's not really meant to be a job. It's meant to be like more of a hobby. Like, yeah, you'll have big projects and you won't get paid, but as long as you're having fun making it, then that's what the important thing is. Like just like this podcast, because I know deep down you guys, you're all, it's not really, it takes a couple of years. Yeah, there's some setbacks, but behind the scenes, everything's all golden.
Exactly. And it's like I said at the top of the show. I said that YouTube used to be all about broadcast yourself. And I'll admit it, if you ever watched like the earliest T-Bone 2004 videos, like I'm talking like before the rant videos, if you were there, you would have noticed that I had like at least 4 or 5 Sonic AMVs, because that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to do some silly stuff. But then it was in 2008 when I met Ed Prince-Stairs that I did a video where I said, I think that the Sonic fan base is kind of being kind of entitled right now, because they want this, and this, when in reality they realize that they don't realize that, I'm sorry, I'm slipping up right there. They don't realize that they're not the ones in control. And then it's like, holy crap, I got something. And then I was like, you know what I can't stand? The Sonic fan base. And then it became, you know what I can't stand? Sonic hentai and the animated porn that goes with it.
Why does that sound like the You Know What's Bullshit series from James Rolfe?
Here's the funny thing about that.
You know what's bullshit?
You want to know? You want to know what the real funny thing about that is? Illogical ranting. That's not how I always started my videos. Believe it or not, and I'm telling this to the panel as well, believe it or not, illogical ranting actually started out as like a tribute to George Carlin, and I'm sorry if my phone's been going off, it's just...
Good.
Holy crap, I got stuff coming in on Facebook. But anyway, it started out as a tribute to George Carlin's free-floating hostility segment from his 1996 show on HBO. And what I did is like, I'm not going to do 24 minor cultural items. I'm going to just do 2 at a time, and I'm going to open with, you know what I can't stand?
Yeah.
And that's basically been a mainstay of yours ever since.
Absolutely, because it is true. It's like, the fact is, had I not started saying, you know what I can't stand, and then picking topics left and right, I would not be anywhere right now. So, with that in mind, I do understand that you say it sounds like James Rolfe's You Know What's Bullshit, because technically, I was inspired by James. I think a lot of us were inspired by James, to say the very least.
Every YouTuber and their grandfather is inspired by James Rolfe, and for good reason, because the guy, just like all of us, he started out simple, making videos in his bedroom, and look where he is now. Now, I know people will say Mr. Rolfe has been, declining as far as quality, and I can see why, but he did make a legacy.
Exactly.
A legacy of nearly 200 episodes long as the video game nerd. Or, I'm sorry, angry video game nerd, I should say.
And also, and not only that, it's like I said, so basically illogical ranting is like a combination of inspiration of James Rolfe and George Carlin rolled into one. And it's like, I'm like, holy shit, I've got something. Had I not come up with that, TILPC would not exist.
And we wouldn't be talking, Terry. And on another note about the first topic you ever spoke about, the Sonic fan base, oh boy, I feel like it's like Sega has 1 million adopted children and have to feed mouths.
Oh dear lord, I could not agree more.
Oof.
But nevertheless, I know people. I know it's like the basic starts for like a lot of the commentary community, which has grown into today. Hell, even in past targets today who were in the Sonic community, like look at Joshua. He's now a punching bag because of some drama he got with some commentators like Luxter or Lindada, and even then it's like shit, here we go again. 10 years later.
Joshua, you never learn. You just never, ever learn.
It seems like we've just come full circle yet again.
The only difference now is that Chris Chan's no longer with us. He's now in prison.
I think the less we
Well-
talk about Christian, the better, because right now it feels like a Voldemort-like status for the fucker.
Yeah, like we said, it's a dead horse.
Yeah, and again, focus your energy on Richard Kuda now, because he's hot right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not touching Richard Kuda with a 10-foot barge pole because he's
I
like,
don't blame you.
I won't even blame you either, man.
it's like. Besides, I think part of me wanted to cover any Sonic fuckery, but it's like, what's the point? First of all, I don't know jack shit about Sonic, so I wouldn't be able to provide anything from the table. But I think maybe I can start from my own internet roots, as we put it, like lightly.
Well, you gotta start somewhere, and to be quite honest, whatever you do, man, know that there will be people watching you. Hell, I'll be watching you. My crew will be watching you. And we'll wish you all the best wherever you go with it, man.
Appreciate it. In fact, in 6 days will be like my first anniversary being a YouTuber.
Hey, man, 1 year down, you got a lot more ahead of you.
Now, granted, I had this account for many years, but it's like I didn't start making videos until literally the 10th of last year. And keep in mind, it was a really poorly done commentary. Granted, I had fun doing it. It was like fun to tear a little shithead it around, but it's like, if you want some cringe, go. You have my permission.
Well-
If I do, I'll probably end up just taking like little lighthearted jabs.
Yeah.
I
But,
can't.
go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna say I would love to do another commentary, but the thing is that I've gotten a little bit I'll say this right now. I'm 35, going on 36. I can't really channel the T-Bone 2004 character like I used to anymore. It's like I have to phone it in now because, sorry to say it, guys, I'm getting older.
I
I
also
think we
noticed.
all are. I mean, hell, I mean,
Oh, good lord.
I mean, fucking 5 months from now, I'll be 37. Jesus.
Good lord, you're ahead of me. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm 36 now, if you can believe it.
Yeah, I also noticed like several. I also noticed, and if there's one thing I can critique both of you on, if you guys don't mind,
Shoot.
Sure.
back then, and I admit standards have changed for the commentary community even today, but I felt like you guys were a bit too harsh. Now, granted, it was funny. I thought it was just for part of the gag, but it's like, looking back, it was like, okay, I know they're an idiot, I know they're a dipshit, but it's like, get off the internet, really? Because I remember you saying that to Jordan River, D-Bone, and
Yeah, I'm gonna admit something right now about the Jordan River thing. And I'm gonna be truthful about this because this really happened. This is kind of a story time little thing, but we're gonna hurry this up because we got two more people that need to want to come in. So here's the thing about that commentary. Yeah, I got a little too aggressive with Jordan River, but that's only due to the fact that I had a kind of a falling out with him, and it was the same thing I did with Eric Mokrachek. I went a little overboard with it, and even then I'm just like, oh my god. I'm not going to lie, there's some videos that I have total cringe at, but if I took them down, that would go against my saying. If you have a bad video, look at it and see just how much you've improved over time. And it goes a little further because Jordan actually contacted me.
ooh,
Oh.
And he said something that I was literally floored at. He was like, T-Bone, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the fact that you called me out on that. It helps me improve a little bit. I'm like, really? You're really going to improve? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna learn to control myself when I'm getting trolled or anything like that. And I'm like, listen, if someone's trolling you, you just block them and let it be. You don't have to give them a response because, I'm sorry, Gligar 13 Vids was a major troll.
Even if he wasn't a troll, it's like, oh well, he doesn't like Billy Hatcher. Get the fuck over it.
Yeah, and I even told him that. I said, nobody's going to like what you like, Jordan. And then he's like, I'm not mad at you, T-Bone. I'm glad you made that commentary because now I do want to improve myself. And I'm like, well, I'm proud of you. Go for it, man. So
commentaries do good. Susan,
I think
never
basketball
gets-
cows can improve, and who knows, maybe they've redeemed themselves. It's like, look at, I've heard of, I don't know, I think I remember RJ Bansma. I don't know what they've been doing lately, but apparently RJ is a friend of mine. So first of all, shout out, buddy.
I can tell you a little something about RJ Bansma and that whole thing. I can tell you a little something that I heard about that.
Yeah, I think even I know too.
I heard that RJ and his dad were putting that on as an act.
Oh, so they were trolling everyone.
I think they trolled everybody that entire time, having a father and son like calling each other out, and I'm like, dude, this sounds like something straight out of WWE.
And
Well,
in,
if that,
and in some
well, let's
strange
say
way, we
that's,
were all trolled.
well, you have to get, well, if that's the case, well, kudos to RJ. They got us.
Well, it's not only that. It's like, I'm actually friends with Rambo Tweety One on Facebook. The guy's actually a very nice guy, and RJ is actually pretty damn cool to say the very least.
Yeah, I'm still buddies with RJ. I'm buddies with RJ, although I haven't spoken to him as much. I should probably reach out to him later.
We really need to do that. But anyways, I hate to do this, but we got to move on.
I understand.
But I will say, Dan, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it, and not only that, thank you so much for the kind words, man.
Yeah,
No
and,
problem.
I also appreciate the criticism too.
Yeah, no problem.
As do I, man.
Yeah, maybe we should do like something down the road during a free time.
Who knows?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. All right. Take care, my friends, and this is Dan Chai saying, Namaskar.
Namaste.
Take care, man.
See ya.
Holy cow, man! This is why I like our community. I like our community because of the simple fact that when we do commentaries and rant videos, we're not doing it to hurt people. We're doing it to inspire people as well. So that way, aspire to get better. Like I said with Jordan River, gotta keep at it. Now, somebody's been waiting for a while, and I want to add him in right now. And I think everybody knows who this is. Smash Productions. Oh boy. Okay, let's get him in here because everybody wants to see him. Smash Productions. Welcome to the Illogical Podcast.
Let me smash, please.
Thank you. It's truly an honor.
Stick. No.
Wait. Hold on. We're not at each other's throats this time?
Would you prefer if we were?
Nah, I think we're good here. Anyways,
Okay.
it's an honor to have you on here, Smash. What's going on?
Just kind of nothing much, really.
Oh, what is going on now?
Worse. Raid.
Oh, I'm looking at the chat right now, and oh god, Joshua Montag thinks we're gonna have some fun right now. No, not this time. This is not the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
But anyway, what brings you on here?
Well, I just wanted to. What, Did you really think that you were gonna do the Electrical Podcast without me?
Of course. What? Wait a minute. What are you getting at?
Because I am the best person here.
Oh god.
Oh.
I think I'm gonna duck out of this one and leave it to you two.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, let me tell you something right here and right now, Smash. If you honestly believe that you are a part of TILPC, then let me school you on something, my friend. How long have you been on YouTube?
Probably about Well, I guess on my main account, probably about almost 2 years or something. You've been on here for like 15 years.
15 years. This is the 15th anniversary stream, by the way. So in that case, you probably don't even know anything about TILPC, my friend. So what gives you the right to walk on my podcast on my 15th anniversary and say that you're the best?
I just really wanted to make my appearance on the 15th anniversary really memorable.
You want to make your appearance memorable, huh?
How so?
Yeah. I thought I'd just step in and just like, because this is a really historic day, the 15th anniversary. I just knew I had to come in and say some shit.
Like, well, you know what? Oh, boy. Josh
I didn't
says that
want
you
the
just want the
attention.
extra attention. But you know what?
You ain't lying.
Oh, and all the while, I thought you had your sights focused on Josh this whole time. And since when did he turn it to me?
Well, you see, after
Now.
I schooled his ass, I thought, who better to go after next than T-Bone?
Oh, God.
You know, it's kind of funny. I'm looking at your name, Smash 2003, and I am T-Bone 2004. So, what's that trying to tell you right there?
Imitation is the best form of flattery.
Exactly.
So, in other words, you're being a copycat. You want to be the new Liquid T-Bone.
Liquid!
I'm gonna be a better T-Bone than you ever were.
Oh, is that a challenge?
Dim's fighting words.
Okay, because I think it's about time that I school everybody right here. This man right here says that my one video on T-Moss Boss was enough to garner many, many commentaries. I'm sorry, but if I'm not mistaken, how many videos have you made on T-Moss Boss?
Probably about 30 back in the day, but yeah, I just did that
30
from
videos compared to one.
Yeah. Well, at least mine were well researched.
Well, at least mine was put together by Joshua Montag.
Oh yeah, and well, I defended him quite a few times.
And I stepped up to the plate for him, and he gladly made my video. So, top that.
Yeah. Well, I do recall me and Josh, we did make a video together exposing your coronavirus video.
You made 30 T-Moss Boss videos. I made one. I'm sticking by that. No, but why does anybody have to make 30 T-Moss Boss videos? And you're saying you had to expose me for my coronavirus video. Oh, wow.
Yeah, 'cause
Wow.
me and Joshua worked together on that one.
Yeah, I guess so. But in all honesty, though, I do appreciate you coming out, man. I really do.
Yeah. In all seriousness, though, I love you, man. You're doing great stuff. I don't mean anything I say here.
Of course not.
It's all in good fun.
That's pretty much how it is.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love for you to stick around, but unfortunately, we are actually running out of time right now. So, anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
I guess all I have to say is hope I can come on some other time. It was great being on here, no matter how briefly, and just stay cool, you guys, and just remember, we're all gonna die.
Unfortunately, this is the
We're
fact
all
of life.
gonna die.
We'll all die eventually, T-Bone.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. But yeah, I know we had a couple more that wanted to come in, but unfortunately we are running out of time, so I'm going to call out these names right now. I'm going to call out Danger Rodent 2004, or Amsterdam 85, And I'm also going to call out Nebulous Moth, aka Viper. If you guys want to join us for the next TILPC in the audience, we will have open mic then. So by all means, you guys will have first dibs. I promise you that.
See you then.
All right. Now, unfortunately, as I said, we are running out of time, and I think it's now time that I had a bit of a, oh gosh. Oh man, I was dreading this part coming up, so I want you guys to bear with me. Yoshi, are you still wanting to stick around for this?
I unfortunately don't think I can.
Well, all I'm gonna say is that this is just gonna be a little. This is gonna be a little sentimental thing, so just if you could stick around just a little bit longer, I would greatly appreciate it. But
No problem. No problem. I can.
Alcel, Blood, Gonzo, you guys too.
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing. We put a lot of work into making this podcast come back.
Oh yeah.
So much work. Like I had so much fun doing this back in 2012 and 2013 for that little bit of time, and then the April Fool's Day video 2014, and then briefly in 2019, but unfortunately that fell through. And I thought it was never going to come back, and well, here we are. So, I want to say right now, thanks to Mutant Yoshi, Blister Blood, and Gonzo. You guys have stuck with me since the very beginning, and I'm trying not to get emotional here, guys. I'm trying not.
Let me just put it to you like... go ahead, Yoshi.
I just gotta tell you one thing, T-Bone.
What's that?
Well, I just gotta say that now I think your performance is pretty wooden.
This guy is fucking Sonic 3 Custom Edition. Go check out his videos, guys. Mutant Yoshi does some great work. I want you guys to check him out. Seriously. And Blister Blood, what was you going to say, man?
Let me just say this to you, T-Bone, straight to your face. There's been a lot of things that have changed over the course of the years on YouTube. No matter if it's a policy change, no matter if the channels all change, no matter if the content changes, the simple fact of the matter remains the same. You have been you for all this time, and there is nothing, not a goddamn thing that anybody can change about that. You are a true certified classic right here.
Blood, don't do this to me, man.
What? I'm just speaking from the heart here. I'm just saying.
You're making me fight back tears right now, man.
I know. But the thing of it is, though many names have come and gone all throughout the years, if I can name a few names here, you of course got your random DCE, you got your Alpha Omega Sin, you got your Razor Fist. You got
the OGs, man.
You got all those OGs that have been sticking around ever since, like maybe the YouTube's inception. Especially one other name that I think a lot of us drew a lot of inspiration from. That man's name was Emmer Prevo, better known as Helsing 920.
If I may say a few things,
go ahead.
We did this at the beginning of the show, guys, and I think that I need to say this right now. This 15th anniversary edition of TILPC, for the 15th anniversary of my character, T-Bone 1004, this one's dedicated to Hammer Prevost, man. Helsing 920, I hope wherever you are right now, man, you are doing some epic rants up there, man. And I assure you right now, I will carry TILPC farther with your memory way down deep inside, man. You're not dead. You are not dead. You're still with us, man.
And this is basically the whole point I was going to get at too here. If I may channel a little bit of my own Randy Rhodes, as it were.
Go ahead, man.
No, not Randy Rhodes. Fucking. What's
Go ahead, take your time, man. Take your time.
I'm just trying to think of his name now. Dusty Rhodes. No.
Oh, Dusty Rhodes, man.
Dusty Rhodes' son, I should say. One of his sons. His younger one? I can't remember now. He's one of the guys from AEW.
Cody Rhodes. It's Cody Rhodes, man.
Cody Rhodes. If I may channel a little bit of Cody Rhodes here. These guys, especially you, have been the titans of our business. You guys were the best minute to minute, second to second. And you know what? I don't care. I don't care how long it has taken us to get to this point. It has taken us about 10 to I'm going to go by the average median here. It has taken us at least 10 to maybe 15 years to go from undesirables to go all the way up to ungoddamn deniable.
Exactly, because it's like I said, Smash, man, I've been in this game since 2006, man, and goddamn you, Smash, calling me solid 2004. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, guys, even with those commentaries I did on myself, I am still solid 2004. And nothing's going to change that, guys. Nothing's going to change that. And Emmer's going to be with me and us to the bitter end. And Gonzo, I know you haven't said much, but man, you've played just as much of a part of this as anything, because had you not come into TILPC, man, you wouldn't have brought us the mini arcade show. You wouldn't have brought us Mean Spirit, for God's sakes.
Yeah. It was kind of a weird ride, but I'm glad to be a part of it.
And, you know, the Tumblr days, man, the Tumblr days. Everybody knows that.
Ugh.
The Tumblr days, my friend, how I wish they would end.
Yeah, I know.
For different reasons.
Yeah. But anyways, I hate to steal the soapbox back, but I've got a few people that I want to make mention of right now. I not just Emmer, but also Big Al 2K6, man. You were also a part of that, man. I'm glad you're still rolling on. You keep on rolling on. Drinking with Bob, I'm glad you got yourself a job in the schooling, everything like that up in New York. But I'll never forget you for what's next. I also owe it to James Rolfe. Thank you, because you inspired me most of all, because, let's face it, I have a lot of video games that I hate too, and seeing you do that inspires me beyond any comprehension of the word. I also owe it to Patch93. You were one of my biggest fans. Even when I was overseas in Kuwait, you had those awesome remixes, and you had your little Speakonia videos. Girl of Pure Heart. Oh my god, New Gristle 87. I wish you were still with us, man, as far as the podcast goes, but I know you're off doing your thing. Zam 3000, he. You're a goddamn good troll, and you are a goddamn good friend. Oh my god, I could just go on forever. There's so many names that I could go over. WizWar100, Bobby the Bobcat, Ed Prinstairs. I won't say his original name, but we all know him as Ed Prinstairs. Armeg21, you are an inspiration behind all this. Like, so many of you people, and none of you don't even know who I am, but I'm inspired by you. So wherever you are right now in this world, from the bottom of my cold, black, angry heart that can suddenly turn red and put tears in my eyes, from the bottom of that heart, and to you, the people that are watching this right now, thank you. Thank you, because without you guys, there wouldn't be a TILPC, and there wouldn't be a T-Bone 2004. So, with that, I thank you very much. And I assure you, you can bet your fucking ass that TILPC will continue from this point on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I've got to say about that. If I did not continue, it would be just illogical, pure and simple. With that in mind, guys, thank you so much for coming to this 15th anniversary of T-Bone 2004, as well as the return of the Illogical Podcast. And I'm going to go down the list again. Blister Blood.
Salute.
Mutant Yoshi.
Oh well. Next top. Oh wait, we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we're done. And Gonzo, mindless Gonzo, that is.
See you guys later.
With that said, on behalf of all of them and myself, I'm T-Bone 2004. We'll see you on the next episode of the Illogical Podcast. And one more thing. I will see you all in 2025 for the 20th anniversary of Vicious Meow Productions. Thank you all. Have a great night.